here for this.
Canopy request is for a Devonshire call, but they're asking
Gentlemen.
for units to respond with the canopy. I'm not sure if they ran out of canopies.
Hang on a
They need an outside
second.
unit.
They've run out of canopies? That's bad.
Making sure this is working. Okay, there you go.
That's the most LA thing I've heard all night.
There we go. Okay, so we're watching, live watching feed
Yee.
from Jeremy Reed.
You can take care of that. No, 20 Roger.
So he's been driving around all night doing like basically crime radio chasing. Here for this, Judge Matty.
We're gonna go.
Chiron, God Emperor.
How we did it before.
Damn Australians. Kick a cat.
And then I'm gonna come from that other angle, because at least they'll be in front of us.
A fellow watcher
Number
says,
one,
well, I'm glad I
there's
left the
nothing to
city
see
when I
behind
did.
them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
number two, they don't like anybody behind them.
You know, it's weird. I've been saying for a
They
bit
like you in front
for
of them
people,
so
like,
that you're in the
get out of the
crossfire with a
cities.
pepper ball gun.
If you can't, get out of the cities. And this is one of the big reasons here. I think this is just the tip of an iceberg.
35.
Vengeful Sun is here, folks.
City of Compton, City of Compton, yeah! Oh, I'm seeing a bunch of fireworks over there. Wow, and then the helicopter looks like
It's been wild. I've been watching a
faster
bit of
than-
this now. Let me just turn this down a little bit.
It's got the blue thunder setting.
Been watching a bit of this now, and you know, you see crowds of people, you know, saying "F the system, F the system." It's like, man, these systems the only reason you ain't starving to death. The system's the only thing that's keeping people from doing some really bad things to you.
She's now at 9 and 10.
There are more cops than protesters. I'm sure they've been.
Breezy put LA under military occupation, then check for legal status. See, the problem is, guys, and I get it, right? Like I feel this too, and I it's not that I'm disagreeing with anybody, but this is how you get Burma,
Milk all over my
right?
face and eyes.
You can get a mini Burma in California real easy. Check out the situation in Myanmar and go, do I want to live in that? Do I want that in my country? Do you really want the third world, legitimate third world with third world police states and all that kind of stuff in your country? Because every action creates a reaction, and then the reactions create more actions and more responses and more responses.
Cops got cruisers loaded with riot dispersers in intersection now.
Here we go.
I'm seeing people leaving.
Gotta give them a
Like,
little
look at
bit
all
of
the
credit.
people
These guys are
taking
going
off.
all night, right?
I'm seeing a lot of people, for whatever reason, are like, yep, now we're done. We weren't done before, but now we're done.
Look at this stupid ass graffiti. I hate graffiti. I hate it so much. I'm not talking about murals. Like, I got some pictures. I may have put them on the back wall sometime. But, you know, like beautiful graffiti art, you know, like mural art on walls. That's one thing. But this shit, it just makes me mad every time I see it. There's a cafe place. It's on the way to the 7-Eleven up the street. And sometimes I walk my daughter up there to, you know, buy some ice cream or something that summer.
Yeah,
And some kid drew a big dick on the wall. And you're like, come on, you know, I'm bringing my 4-year-old by there, asshole. Oh,
Doing the fireworks.
here we go.
They're busting on the people in the intersection doing the fireworks.
They're
Oh,
not
damn.
fireworks.
They
They're
are moving.
trying to burn down buildings now.
Now the whole crowd just started moving.
Yeah, in action is still in action. No, I agree with you.
damn.
This is the shit sandwich now, right? Is that there is you got to do something
Now.
because something has to be
People are
done,
running.
and I don't think anybody in these crowds understand how bad things are about to get. Federal troops and National Guard coming in. They're going. That means they're going to war.
Damn, everybody's peeling out.
and everyone in LA who resists is now an active combatant. There's a great line from Battlestar Galactica, when the female president turns to Adama and goes, "Well, you could be the cops." And he's like, "No, military should never be the cops."
They just lit up this car so hard. Oh my god. They're busting on this car so hard. Whoa. They just shot so many things at this car and then the car stopped.
I'm not quite sure if it's the cops or who is firing. Looks like flares. I'm not quite sure if it's both sides, like some people shooting off fireworks to burn down buildings, or if the cops are responding by shooting off flares. The cops have definitely been shooting, from as far as I can tell, tear gas and rubber bullets. Rubber slugs.
Hold on, I'm gonna get out the other camera. Give me a second.
Ian Rose. Good evening to you, my big dog. Yeah, we're gonna see all my American night owls and Australians. My internationals. This is what the stream is for. We'll be here for a while, I think. If he ends up this, we'll find us something else, or there's an Asmongold response to all this as well. Australia. Screwed up, Nevsky. Good to see you, my friend.
Hold on. I'll see if we can take a closer look. Oh, I just saw a dude throw the firework right here.
Oh, man.
It's good. Damn, dude.
Hang on. Sorry, the volume's a little inconsistent. That's a lot of riot gears. It is kind of oddly cozy, isn't it? It's like you're watching something horrifically violent.
They're moving right for me now.
Uh-oh.
One of the outstanding suspects still armed with an article.
They just threw tear gas over here. We're out of here. They just tear gassed this whole area. Oh shit, we're out. Oh my god, this dude just threw a bottle at him. Oh shit, we're definitely
I would back the
now.
fuck up out of here, man.
Oh no, he's got another bottle to throw.
Yeah, do not be by these guys. What are you doing? Peel the fuck out.
1825, repeat.
Why are you backing up, bro?
I love how Americans are very calm with violence. It's
1825, roger. 1849, repeat.
What the hell? Why wouldn't you go, dude?
I would blow that light right
All
now.
tear gas. Why would you want to stay right there?
Maybe not.
We're running the light. Come get
Yeah.
us if you want. We're dipping the light.
I think you're allowed to dip the light right when there's like riot cars and tear gas being deployed. Pretty sure that would be a defense. Like, Your Honor, there was tear gas. Okay. Don't do it again.
35. Battery suspect there now. 14102 Sherman Way, code 2.
I guess this is in Compton, eh?
15.
Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? The hell?
What about you?
There are no rules out here tonight. I think that's probably one of the issues. You need some rules. You need several. You can't just have no rules.
Nomad Cowboy says we have a weird high threshold for chaos.
There's definitely some
You've been well trained
Tear
over
gas
the
that
last few
crept in
years.
somewhere. I have the recycle air on. I don't like how people just stop like this. You're gonna stop in the middle of the road with your hazards on. For why? But for why?
789 traffic stop Cypress, correction Cypress, and Pepper, A Union Lincoln 0331.
Oh shit! This is a smoking tear gas right here.
Oh, Jesus.
Is that about to blow up? Or is this an old one? This is what they're shooting. This is the tear gas. Is this dude gonna grab it? He is gonna grab it. Bro. That is some like military
What
style.
are you doing?
That's what they threw.
This is
underneath
too
my
calm.
car over by
See,
the Vengeful.
guys?
Oh, he's gonna grab it. He's gonna grab it. Oh, I bet it's hot, bro. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
Ian Rose says so many Holland shirts getting brought out of storage this weekend. Hawaiian. Wish they all could be California riots.
The block is hot. The block is hot. Hot, hot.
We got a super chat goal up there. Feel free, send it over there. Streamlabs are all the things. Pew. What? What the fuck? Is that a gremlin fucking driving that car? Dude, seriously. What?
Before going outside of the division, identify.
I saw that. It looked hot as fuck. No. It looked hot as fuck.
Nigga, you with them niggas?
Who?
Damn nigga.
Who? The cops?
12.
No, dude.
Put that shit down.
I'm just chilling.
Yo, you making it see?
I'm not.
This guy's got like 12,000 people watching him. So
I'm
like,
not with 12, bro.
if he's got a channel at all, he
He
just
said
made.
you making
He's
it
just
seem
basically
like
making
it
his
is 'cause you
channel
won't
doing
put the
this.
window down. Dude, I didn't want to put the window down. That would have been game over for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't put no windows down. You see someone walking towards your car, you
So
keep
that
on
dude
driving.
introduced himself to me by
I need
punching
directions.
The window. Did you hear that? Like, boom.
You need to get the fuck away from my
Came up
car.
and punched the window.
Uh-huh.
And then I wouldn't put the window down, and he's like, "Oh, that's pretty sus."
He punches the window. You don't put the
Man,
window
that would've
down,
been such
and
a
he's
good
like,
parking
"What?
spot, too.
What are you looking for them now?" I'm like, "Oh, I just don't want. You just punched my window, sir."
It really doesn't help my cause that the scanner's going.
This is Trash Panda City. Yeah,
27 RD 638.
California is just like a fucking raccoon.
But one way or another, I let a lot of that tear gas in. I don't know how.
Well, through your air conditioning vents, bud.
45 Roger.
As a sheriff at gas station, suspect number 1, male, black, long hair, wearing a white tank top, black pants. Suspect number 2, male, white, wearing a white tank top, black pants, laughing on bikes towards White Oak.
I feel like no, if you're white right now in Los Angeles, you could just be doing some crazy stuff, and you're not gonna be. No one's gonna go after you right now.
You're Central Unit responding to a robbery investigation here on 7th and 3rd, please.
31 to 320 Summit. 79, 309. Call back for your 3.
Yeah, for anybody that didn't understand that interaction, the youth call police 12, 12.
We got the location.
That's why you're seeing all the graffiti writing that says fuck 12.
I think to meet with you at the Cars Junior at Van Nuys at Paris before you
He's like, you're with them? I'm like, no. He's like, well, then put your window down. I'm like, no. He's like, you're with them. And so I like cracked it. And then he's like, no, put it down. I was like, no. He gave me a crazy look too. Nah.
I love my ex comments.
No.
Someone, Marvin Sensible Centrist, responded to my ex
Even
post.
cracking my window
I wouldn't call
down
this vengeful son. I would call this
I left a lot of
anti-American.
tear gas. I don't know how that dude was just eating all that tear gas.
And Laurel Tall responds, isn't he talking about us watching these foreign invaders riot?
Report to the man.
I feel like we're both sides. My answer? Yes.
I mean, to be fair, I don't look like I fit in. That's been a problem I've had my whole life. I just
City
don't
rates in
look
LA,
the
yeah.
part.
Yeah, can you imagine paying high property taxes to live in this? To live anywhere near this, anywhere associated with this. Like, I pay high land taxes and property taxes here, but like, I live in a nice neighborhood.
859 David Lincoln, correction, David Lincoln.
Even the Jeets are well behaved. They're bathed
One of my biggest fears out here is having like
because they know.
some out of control car just T-bone me or hit me and then leave, because there are a lot of stolen cars, especially these like street takeovers. They'll get a stolen Infiniti or a stolen car, and then if they hit you, you're not getting their insurance info, you know what I mean? They're just hitting you and then leaving, and that's one of my biggest fears, is like having one of these cars hit me and then I'm just disabled. The car is like disabled, and now I'm just in Compton 1:45 in the morning during Judgment Night. If you saw Emilio Estevez and Cuba Gooding Jr. trying to run from Dennis Leary, that's not what you want. This is definitely Judgment Night area.
Trying to run from Dennis Leary.
Steven Dorff.
Responding to all station.
Also, I switched to the white. I don't think he liked the white. I was in black before. I was dressed in black. Now I'm dressed in white. Can you fill me in? Oh, and then this dude's doing street takeover right here. See, it's probably time for us to boat. I think we already got a little bit more than we bargained for anyway.
Code 2, incident 243, RD 1515. Possible arson suspect 631 Bel Air Avenue, code 2.
He might have heard the scanner, but when you...
Yeah, the thing about the Vengeful Son, of course, is
I
that
just have all
everyone
of
thinks
these.
it's always I'm talking about
Like,
the
look
other
at this
people.
cell phones. 1, 2, 3. Like, I have a lot
Jesus,
of
bro.
I have a lot of stuff lit up in here. Like, it looks like something additional is going on. You know what I mean?
Well, something is.
Not a lot of people roll around with 5 cell phones.
In LA, I actually think in LA that wouldn't be
All
that
up on my
weird.
line, like calling number 9.
Roger.
I've known some
2943 Halldale.
narcotics
126,
employees in the narcotics trade, and they've had a few cell phones. Sometimes operating at the same time.
Even if something wasn't going on over here, this is the hood where somebody just comes at you head on, so you can't go anywhere. And then they tell you, get out. And you're like, oh no. It's not like you can floor it. It's not like you can put it in reverse and floor it. You're just stuck. So you always try to leave a lot of wiggle room.
What do you think the new background, folks?
Are
Going
we
to be doing much
Craig's
more of a
house? I think it
bar
was time to go to
theme
Craig's house, to be honest.
to a lot of the streams. Inviting callers in. Is anyone who wants to call in, who's in the chat, let me know. You want to call in and
58-476.
live watch and
Especially
chat
since my
while
eyes
we
are
do
burning.
this,
I
you're
need-
more than welcome.
Another round of milk. You need some milk.
Milk.
600 block of Center.
And that dude was broken down right there, it looked like.
Also, I'm not committed to this guy's stream. If anyone has a better stream to watch
555.
out there, let me know. We can switch to it. I found this guy at least was going to where the action was. A lot of the other streams are
What is this dude?
from earlier in the day, or like some guy standing at a gas station. So we can switch around and find other ones if you want. I feel that this guy has a story, but you don't want to read it.
958 Lake Street, identified.
There's a big ass cat. Just is it a cat or is that a dog, or is that a cat dog? It's a dog, right? Some weird ass looking dog, and he's just staring at a gate, and
Alright,
we're
hold
staring
on,
at
I'm
him
looking
stare at a gate.
What is that dude looking at?
18-8-35, cancel, incident 130-5855 will handle.
That isn't even his dog. Oh, maybe it is.
Captain 23rd. Right?
Man, I can't imagine living in this.
So 3 from Gaffey and 23rd to 204 North Gaffey.
Every time I see pictures of LA or videos of LA, it blows me away. Because you have this, and then like not that far away is like Beverly Hills, or
And this taco stand is still open right here.
yeah, it is.
Hanging tough.
That motherfucker knows. It's the after riot crowd. They're hungry. They've been running all night.
Clothing Pedestrian just came out. Linwood.
Get yourself a burrito. Energy up.
We're gonna
Get some
go
of that
down
thick
Sketchy
protein.
Alley.
Dense protein. Dense protein. It's all about the dense protein now.
Oh, this is the cat alley. Look up there. This is the alley where all these cats came out last time.
8599 voice.
I'm gonna name
Yeah,
that
cat alley
Kirsty.
means really rat alley.
That black one was Kirsty Alley.
That was a good one.
Grand 2620 South Maryland at
You little Kirsty.
861.
Oh no, it's the black cat putting the Kirsty on me. If
5846.
something happens to me now, it's that cat's fault.
Code 6 204 North Gaffey Street.
Where are you going? We are gonna.
Ice
go
needs to
see
set
if we
the
can find
taco stand and
people's
get them on their
bike.
lunch breaks. Yes. See? Ian Rhodes, man.
It's just like
You
it's
gotta
both of
work
our
hard.
bikes,
You gotta
but,
work smarter, not
it's
harder.
my house.
19 Roger.
And you know it would
I'll
work.
be tripping, man.
That's
You
the
know
crazy
I
thing,
wouldn't
right? That's not
trip.
even like a that's like a Bugs Bunny thing that would just work. Trippy Cast. Hey, Hey, Trippy Cast.
Beach cruiser.
I was gonna read. Hey, Mironchucknow. Hey, Trippy Cast. Hey, Mironchucknow. That's me. Here we are watching some live feed out of Los Angeles. This guy is been cruising around all night. Jeremy
No, I
Reed.
wouldn't trip.
Let's give him a subscription.
It's Pops, man.
1749 Roger. Mercer. Information to
Nova Star from Sarah's panel. Good to see you, Nova Star. Were you the one with the? You were that one?
My eyes are still burning. My
Ian Rhodes,
eyes.
325. Few dollar
I need some
dollar
ice
dues for
in
the
it.
jury fund. Cheers, Ian. Appreciate you.
That was a little ass kid walking around out here. 2 a.m. in the hood.
2 a.m. in the hood. I feel like that's a rap album that just needs to be done. Hang on a second. Where's my box at? Enchanted Hero, hello.
Oh shoot.
Jesus. Oh no! What? Now the skate kids are in on the action. Where you is with a skate park now? So apparently, also riots in LA just make people want to do donuts in the middle of the street. That's a thing. This is like the second one we've seen now tonight. Fucking loser. Fucking loser.
So yeah, that's what time it is out here. It's no rules time. A lawless game.
It has been relatively peaceful. We've seen some fireworks. This guy had to peel away from one area. And this guy's just like a dude in a car. So he had to peel away from one area because there was gas.
Pull his mom's car into the garage. Hot
they were
tonight.
tear gassing the area.
Hot.
And he's got a police scanner on him, so he's trying to find hot spots.
Nora Victor 638.
See, the problem with this guy's plan is he's driving around the hood. He's going to have to get gas at some point, I'm assuming. I would not be getting out of that car.
We're going to be sitting behind
I don't know if there's any full serves. Because I worked at a gas station. I'm like, no. Like, it says full serve. I'm like, I know what the sign says.
Friday
No.
Quote, put it in the chat.
I'm staying inside.
I'm gonna take us over to Craig's house real quick. What up, Bryce?
Behind the bulletproof glass.
663 is requesting backup area unit supervisor sitting behind a code 30.
Okay, let's see if we can find...
Hollywood Boulevard, west of
Okay,
Boulevard.
let's see if he finds something going on here. If not, we'll look around and see if we can find a more action-packed
Is that
feed.
legal in LA? Depends on what time of the day. Well, the real answer is no. But like, there's just some stuff that.
Okay, we can come back to this guy. We're watching Smoke and Scan. Got 106 subscribers. If this guy whole channel is just him sitting around smoking cigarettes and watching police scanner shit. See, you see these things, and you realize that you've been doing this YouTube thing all wrong. Every time I see this, I'm like, why? You know, I do like an 8 or 12 hour work week just to like get the shows in and all the facts and all this other stuff. I put it out and get like 1,000 views, which is great. You know, I'm always happy to get whatever I can. But then you see these guys, and there's like some fat guy in a chair sitting around just watching news feeds. We got $5 from random username. Thank you. Good morning. Good night. TLDR LA is the GTA trailer. School of Thought says, y'all see the riots in California today. We're looking at the nighttime feed. We'll keep this going and see what happens during the daytime. We'll keep looking around.
Omar Gonzalez.
It's one of those things too. On the 12-hour, I'm on this time zone flip, so a lot of these things happen while I'm sleeping. I streamed last night late and crashed out and got up in the morning and like looked at my feed and all this stuff was going on. I'm like, Jesus, what is going on? Not surprising though. We did call it. Here's the Vengeful Son. Of course, you got Gavin Newsom and the mayor of LA not being at all helpful.
Fuck your zoo. 2 feet from your face.
Because they could end this. It was a good tweet. I'll read out in a second as well.
There's no reason to hide there. Yeah, is that what he said? I didn't even hear him.
Let me just read this out while you listen to this.
That way they gotta push everybody back.
This is from a account that says from Slightbringer. The real truth is you're watching engineered instability weaponized to fracture domestic order and reset sovereign control structures without ever declaring war. Sanctuary cities were never about compassion. They were pressure valves for globalist migration pipelines, allowing transnational systems to embed themselves inside local governance. The end game isn't multicultural harmony, it's sovereign overload, where narrative legitimacy collapses under the weight of contradictory realities. LA is now the prototype. Foreign nationals used as mimetic accelerants, law enforcement turned into trauma agents, political leadership willing to let chaos burn if it weakens the Trump momentum. This isn't just negligence, it's strategic destabilization. Underneath it all, a deeper reflexive play, accelerate entropy in the heart of Western states, trigger authoritarian backlash to justify expanded control, use chaos as a bridge to centralize global governance models. Biblical prophecy, intelligence operations, media theater, they've all converged into one recursive arc. Create the collapse, then sell the solution, but this time the solution isn't national reform, it's post-nation control, and yes, they want to ignite it under Trump, because if he restores sovereignty, the global project stalls. You're not crazy, you're early, and what you're seeing now is only Act 2. Starship's Adventure Channel, let's go there.
You guys go that way, you'll probably get shot. Yeah, that's where my car's at.
Starship Adventures.
895.
This one?
Need for 9 flying code 3 from Tampa, Ronaldo 2, 8959 Monogram Avenue.
Unit code 4. Hollywood east of Schrader, suspect in custody.
Oh, there I am. That's the one. I'll turn the volume up. It's a little bit much. Well, it's just one police feeder, right?
53, roger.
So we're seeing earlier.
6040, roger. Close 2
I kind of wish I just could click on one of these, though. Like, dook.
All units code 4.
Oh.
Roger. 28 roger.
School of Thought says that sounds like the plan to me. Well, this was the basic plan. This is the Great Reset plan. That if you follow my bond market analysis and all that stuff, it's all tied into the same thing. Collapse things, reset it under a new system.
Incident 3906 picked up and handled.
Mission units clear, calls and update your status for 19030.
Also feeds into my theory that Trump-Elon kerfuffle was to draw media attention away from preparations for this. Because that happened and everyone's like, oh, distracted and paying attention to there, and then all of a sudden then this starts wheeling out. So they had no chance of responding to any of it. Okay, this is good. We may come back to this, but let's see if we can get something that's actually more on the ground.
Oh, his window did get fucked. His window got fucked by one. Damn. One of them hit his window. See, that's why I fucking left, dude. Look at his window. His window got cooked.
I'm hiding behind the homie behind the tree. That's crazy. What's the charger?
Understandably, these guys are standing as far back from the action as possible, but I'm like, come on, get some balls in. Get me some footage. Content, motherfucker, come on.
Damn, put up in the razor, look.
What the fuck is that? Oh, that shit's hot. Yo. I'm taking this shit. Even though it's hot as fuck. Yo, is this... Can I take it? Look at this shit. It's hot as fuck, but... Look at this shit, bro. Hold up.
I'm actually gonna push us to that. I can't believe we've been here for that
So how this feeds into that vengeful son spirit that I've been talking about for a while is that desire for violence and for total violence is just bubbling up and bubbling up and bubbling up under the surface. And it's not that we haven't had riots and violence happening over the last 60 years. Obviously there was, but that was targeted to our particular aim.
Blurry stream? What is the stream blurry?
And this one's being fueled, especially by the response side, by the Trump, the National Guard, and people who kind of want to see a lot of these people being removed from country one way or the other, and of course the riots in response to it.
Wipe lens?
That's a different kind of spirit.
I think it's just low bit rate in this area.
That's one that wants to reinstate order, but also one that's responding to this sort of the deceptions of the last 30 odd, whatever, 60 years that have got us to this point.
Hella souvenirs from today.
Okay, this guy's not doing anything. Let's go back to the... At least we can get some... I think there's some news stations who are doing some reporting on this too, but I'm a little bit sketchy on putting them up because sometimes if it's an ABC affiliate, they strike the whole stream down. Don Browning, good evening. G'day. G'day, Don. We're watching some riots. Get a bit sparky. Oh, yeah. All the specky people are out, Don. Having themselves a bit of a... Sorry, I'm just watching these. That's a lot of tear gas. So yeah, this is the part of my theory about the vengeful son is that as these acts of violence begin to happen, it's going to encourage responses to those acts of violence, and these things begin to multiply. Very peaceful, mostly peaceful protests. Very well. I'm sure the news here will be saying that these are the exact opposite of the mostly peaceful. Did the Marines rock up? Not yet. And I have not seen any reports of Marines yet, although there are rumors. What I've heard now is that Trump is going to be essentially taking over the California National Guard, and they don't have much of a say in that. So he'll be rolling out multiple National Guards, and California can't then use them. Not that I think Newsom was going to actually marshal up the National Guard and take on the Fed, but I'm a personal belief that I think the LA mayor has to be led away in handcuffs by the end of this. You're going to send a message, you got to send that message. And you totally destroyed Newsom's political career along with it. We knew this was going to happen sooner or later, and I'm not surprised at all that it's happening in LA. Sort of one of the epicenters of the illegal migrant trade. What'll be interesting to see is how this spills out and how it's modeled in other places in the world, because I think obviously in Europe, a lot of people are not going to want to go this far with things. But people are watching, right?
Stay with this for another hour or so. It does appear to be winding down. There's one video there, the center upper center one. I'm not sure that that's not looping, but I'm trying to get confirmation now on whether we still have any active standoffs going on. The problem we're having right now is everybody, because they want hits on YouTube, they want to get clicks. What they're doing is they're leaving on a loop of what they recorded earlier.
Yeah.
And if that's what's going on here, then we're actually watching old video,
That's
unfortunately. And
I was going to go live earlier with this, but
I'm not sure. So I'm trying to get some confirmation now on exactly what's going on. But either way, we're going to have to end the video in about 1 hour to archive it anyway. It is 2:06 a.m. on the West Coast.
okay, well, we'll keep with this guy for a bit, and then let the people know, folks. Like and share all the stuff for the show. We got a super chat goal up there.
Sleep soon, because tomorrow's coverage, I have a funny feeling that we're going to be back with coverage on this again tomorrow night, or at least tonight, I should say.
Yeah, and I'll stick with this for a while, and
gearing up for that, and we will have.
We'll see what the morning brings, because I think
again, if we need to, but again, I think for tonight, this thing's about winding down. I'm thinking that one video we're seeing in the center up there is probably looping. I believe it's looping. And I don't believe there's actually anything actively going on. So I'm going to be double checking that. I'll put the scanner back on. We'll be staying live with this for about another hour or so. And then we will discontinue the stream. Please give us a subscribe and a like. We really appreciate that. It really helps us out a lot. Now back to the scanners.
subscribe and a like. Okay, we'll stick with this for a little bit longer, folks. Unless there's anyone else in the chat who wants me to change to something. There's an Asmongold response to the riots that we can get to. There's a whole bunch of content we can sort of look at.
71 in Hollywood, Avalanche traffic, Santa Monica and Oxford, code 3 incident 4013669.
JF says, mysterious pallets of bricks showing up yet? Not yet.
I have a paid subscription to Flight Radar 24.
I have a feeling, though, you're going to see a little less of that.
There's no aircraft up right now. That's why it's blank.
Because the response from the cops, I think the orders from the cops and the National Guard and etc. are not going to be just stand down and do nothing. So, quite possibly, I think we're going to see a very different form of responses. Especially if bodies start piling up. $62 watch, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, folks. So as this spills out, and I suspect this is going to spill out to other states now, California is going to be the big one, obviously, and we're going to see how it gets handled.
Thanks for the subscribers, guys. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to turn them down a little bit here. Obviously, it's going to depend on how it gets handled, especially when how it gets handled at higher. If we start seeing high-ranking people get arrested. Breezy says, perfect time for Palantir. Yep. If you need pinpointing and facial recognition and up-to-date intel that's tapped into everyone's phones. See, people say bad things about Palantir until you need it. It's a tough one, right, with Palantir, especially, with the Israeli stuff. I don't think that's a coincidence either that Palantir's put into the news right around the time Elon leaves, trying to drag Thiel and the CEO into news and put wedge issues. MAGA's like, he's a Jew, he's an Israeli, he's a Zionist, and maybe he, I'm not saying he isn't, but the technology itself, Israel resisted getting Palantir in. They didn't want Palantir. They came up with a few homegrown programs. One was called Lavender. The other was called Daddy's Home. And they were pinpointing people when their phones would go on. They would ding through Lavender, which is a social media app. Would get in control of your social medias and pay attention to when your phone goes on. And that would alert Daddy's Home, which would alert their missile systems, and they would just drop bombs and like level out whole neighborhoods. You know, the pager attacks, that was all part of that system. And the PR got so bad, I think, for the Israelis that they had to eventually almost were forced to put in Palantir. But Palantir embeds itself. As from my understanding, it just was if you get Palantir in your system, it takes over your whole system. It gets onto your cloud data and all the rest of it. So that's why they didn't want it, I think. And now Palantir is basically running the Israeli defense systems. Or it certainly is embedded. Anyways, we put it that way. Don says, I always bear in mind problem, reaction, solution, setting a precedence, and cui bono. Exactly. And we don't learn, right? No one learns. And I guess it's hard to learn or to be forward thinking in a war zone. But I mean, these protesters. So the morning is going to bring out the normies. And that's when things will get very interesting. Because you put a whole bunch of civilians into a potential war zone. And I think it's time to start thinking of this as an active war zone. And I'm not being hyperbolic about that. Where's Prince when you need him? Show up with a whole bunch of black op military. But yeah, I mean, LA is just being taken over by cartels in one way, shape, or form, and you can't have that going on in your country. Goes to what someone said before. It's like, yeah, you do need to respond. These things have to have a response. And this is obviously the response, long overdue, but that becomes part of the problem itself, is that the response has to be unequal now. Well, the government's violent response is going to have to be very definite, which is not something that I think we've seen in America or anywhere in the West for quite some time. In the Jan 6, right, the police were told to stand down and let it happen so they could get all the footage and make a big story out of it. That's what we've kind of gotten used to, is watching cops stand down. Very rarely getting fully activated. And now I think we're going to start seeing full activation. Tom Ricketson, the Goat Father, that is me. I am the Goat Father. Father of goats. Hello, Tom. Okay, so not much is going on with these streams. Kind of stuck in repeat mode here. Let me know what you guys want. We can find a let's go back to the other guy and see if he found anything more interesting. That's Starship.
There you go. Freaking matter. You get an extra 2 bowls of mids. There you go. Kid.
Okay, well this is just whatever.
We're kind of doing what they were doing tonight, standing in front of the skirmish line. And at the end of the video, they start kettling. So they'd say, "Oh, you can't get out this way. Go that other way."
Okay, so he's just driving. I think he's getting the hell out of there.
That other way.
This, I think, is earlier. Nope.
This little intersection, 710 in the Atlantic is mine. The only two times. The first time I went, and now. Dude tried to carjack me. I literally stayed working out.
My first time walking around Compton, I got shot up.
And we're just gonna see if we can find.
Okay, are they done, bro?
Yeah, we're all just watching the same stuff here. Okay, let's take a break from these live feeds. Well, let's watch some Asmongold. Hang on. And we'll check back. Oh, oh. Just as I'm about to go away, we see your gunshots. Or something. Okay, where's that Asmongold? Okay, here we go. Let's watch some Asmongold.
This is happening right now.
$9 from Reformed Rogue. Keep up the good work. God bless. Thank you so much. It needed to happen. Plenty of people are still taking notes. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's the sad thing, right? Is that unfortunately, it kind of needed to happen.
Look at this.
35 watching on YouTube. YouTube tells me, so please make sure you like and subscribe. Send me a little bit of super chat as well if you
You
want.
got out there people acting like fucking apes. It's embarrassing. This is crazy. What is going on? What is this?
So obviously this is from earlier in the day.
What is this shit? They're just random cars. What is this?
Oops.
Like, that's just that's a regular
Living in LA, I'm trying to see him.
ass
Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
car. Like, as far as I know, like, this is a regular ass car. He just sitting here doing this. And by the way, even if it's not, he didn't know that. Look at this. Undercover? Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Well, that's how crazy things gotten out too, right? Is that you don't even know, is this guy a paid protester? Was he paid to throw the rocks? Is he working for the feds? Is he just some random guy in a motorcycle helmet who just likes throwing rocks at cars? No, who knows? Yes. We've crossed the line now, especially into mimetic contagion, where it's almost impossible to tell what is organic and what is contrived. Because obviously you're going to have contrived agents, you're going to have people being paid and motivated, let's say, by outside agents. And so there's that to contend with. And you're also going to have, because of that, people are going to see that and start modeling it. This is my part of the prognotion for Vengeful Son, is that it's mimetic violence. And once stones get thrown, the first stone's the hardest, the second stone gets easier, and then the third and the fourth and the fifth and the rest of it all get much easier because you have models for the violence. And so as it spills out and becomes more and more common, it can take one paid instigator to do something, and then the entire crowd begins to model him. So Breezy says this is Trump's chance to redeem himself to 2020 summer Floyd. Yep.
Yeah, arrest him. Yeah, he's not discriminating. Well, you need to put this dude in jail. Like, this is the thing. Why is this guy not being arrested?
Yeah, I think this is what Trump should have done in 2020, but understandably why he didn't. Because unless you have people backing you up, and you know that, you know, by doing these actions, you're literally not going to be hauled off to jail. Because I wouldn't have trusted the Democrats or the establishment, even the Republicans at the time, not to do that. So this kind of shows you that Trump is very confident in and at least his apparatus behind him, that he's not going to be facing real deal repercussions for this, political or otherwise.
He's openly attempting
And I think Trump's beyond politics now anyways.
kill federal agents in LA. And you don't even know about this shit. They're actively looking for this guy throwing rocks. Really? Well, which one? There's 50 fucking guys. I strongly suggest you turn yourself in. It's only a matter of time. Well, where the fuck is the police? So you got this. Look. They actually went and turned this shit into it. Just shoot him? I'm gonna be honest. You sitting there throwing bricks at people and they shoot you, I say that's a rip bozo. You should not be throwing bricks at cars. Throwing bricks at cars? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's a fuck around and find out situation. That's self-defense? Yeah. It's attempted murder? Yeah. Like, I don't know how we let this shit happen. Like, this is not a big deal at all. Just whatever.
I realize now
I'm Giovanna
I should
Lama.
have
You're
done
taking
this
a
a little
live
bit
look
differently.
at one of the protests
This is from
underway in
yesterday.
Los
I want to go to the ones from today. Because there's more of them. Obviously, like there's a whole new one. Let me see if I find a new one. And this is 2 hours ago. Here's another one. Let's get it. You ain't never gonna see a shit happen in Texas? Probably happened in Austin. They probably have this shit happen in Austin. Like, what is this? I mean, aren't these emergency vehicles? At least some of them? This is nuts. We seen this? We seen part of this. No, this is the same thing as we looked at before, but it's a different one. Yeah.
Don saying it's nearly 2:30 a.m. in LA, yeah, and they're still going. Although it does seem to be quieting down,
Do you
probably
think
because
this
it's
could
2:30 in the morning.
resort
but-
to civil war or civil unrest? No, not at all. I think this is a problem. They could solve this problem in 24 hours.
I do think you'll see martial law be declared in California, or at least LA. Highly likely. If Trump basically declares martial law in Los Angeles. Now, I'm not quite sure how this works in America, and maybe someone who knows better in the chat can let me know. Then there's your excuse to going in and arresting the mayor, arresting anyone in the mayor's office you want to, mass detentions. You can just go in and roll in and do what you want to do. So, Jay Foot says, did they declare martial law for the Rodney King riots? Let's find out. Watch this for a second, folks.
Like this is a 24-hour solution, but they just don't want to do it. Easily, yeah, easily. And they have time. They have time left over. It's a GTA 6 yeah. People don't realize an insane minority of people doing this. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. Is that like you have this one. Like, in my opinion, I think this is like pretty much a single-digit minority of people that are doing this. And
to answer Jay Foot, no martial law was not declared during the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in 1992. Instead of a state of emergency was declared by Mayor Tom Bradley on April 29th, 92, along with a dusk till dawn curfew to address the widespread violence, looting, and arson that erupted after the acquittal of 4 LAPD officers involved in Rodney King's beating. So, no, but state of emergencies, yeah, and again, I think that can be declared for the mayor's office. I'm not sure if Trump could just declare a state of emergency or enact martial law. But we'll see what it's 2:30 in the morning in LA. Definitely by dawn or early morning LA time, we're going to get a response from the feds for sure. Who else is RK Mangoes? Hey, Miron. Hello, RK Mangoes. Shane says Osmongold did a video that'd be good to react to. Well, we're reacting to this one, but let me know. Oh, okay, he's behind. If there's another one, let me know.
like, how do you let these people run wild? Yeah, this is nuts, man. Majority at this point? No, it's not. This is like where's this music? Oh, it's this here. Let me turn this off. Sorry, I thought there was something else going on. Yeah. See, they go and they say this shit, right? They say shit like this. Let us be clear. Anyone who assaults or impedes a federal law enforcement officer or agent in the performance of their duties will be arrested and swiftly prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Where are they? Where are the prosecutions then? Where are they? When? When? Like tomorrow? Like next year? Like, this is insane. This is third world country bullshit? Yeah, exactly. Crazed leftist tries...
Well, they might be doing, allowing them to do a little bit is shore up the defense, shore up lines. Because I see a lot of LA cops, obviously riot squads, I guess California marshals out there. I haven't seen, for the nighttime footage anyways, I haven't seen a lot of any kind of National Guard or actual military presence on the streets. But I'm still catching up a little bit for the last few hours. So I'm not quite sure if that's just something that we're going to start, that happens in the daytime, and we'll see more of it. We'll see more of it when the day breaks. RK says it was a riot by all means, burning cars, graffiti everywhere, car set on fire, not a peaceful protest. Well, mostly peaceful. Mostly. This is, can be somewhat, occasionally peaceful, randomly peaceful. It's a chaotically peaceful protest. That's what it is. Ryan Isaac, happy feast of Pentecost. God bless, sir.
Look at this. Look at this. We can't watch that. I don't want to watch the guy get run over. But, like, I mean, honestly, this is insane. Like, you're trying to get
the wife and child are away, so my feast was mac and cheese, but,
in front of a car like this, and I gotta tell you, I don't have any fucking sympathy.
Yeah, there's one peaceful guy. Look at that guy. Look at that guy being peaceful. Look at him.
This is insane. A U.S. Marshal bus. You have to get these people and put them in fucking jail. He survived. You can't win them all. What's this?
Access, where all of this is playing out right now, where our ground camera is.
Look at this.
They're going to have to get through.
I love how Asmongold's basically applying gamer logic and gamer brain to these things, where he's like, I just got to start mowing them down. I mean, it's what you got to do. It's regrettable, but there she is.
Here we go.
Two of those SUVs are now essentially going around this.
This is nuts, man.
Protesters. This really could turn extremely.
This is crazy.
Right, I'm seeing one of the doors open.
They're shooting out the window
on one of those vehicles.
What is this?
It's hard to tell if that's.
Look at he's out. He's playing around.
But we're right now seeing some agents with the federal government come out, and they're trying to make way for this bus. Right now.
Yeah, kidnappers, not protesters. Yeah, bro, this is not like, and this is the problem. Is like, it is.
Yeah, I mean, if I had any advice to any protester in LA, is like, do not go down there. Do not go down there at all, because a lot of these people embedded here are not your friends. They're here for a whole different reason, to feed the beast, basically. Ryan says, Asmongold going full vengeful son. I don't care. They got to crack some skulls. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's infectious, right? That's why the warning. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel right. It's going to feel just, and in many instances, it's going to be hard to argue that it isn't.
It's really a vocabulary problem. This is not a protest. Like, whenever you're whenever you're destroying property and throwing bricks at people and, like, fucking getting in the street and making sure people can't drive, this isn't a protest anymore. Like, this was a protest. Now it's not. And so that you got even more of this.
Vantage point that we would not have without having helicopters there in the sky. Look at this, Austin.
Mexican flags?
Mexican flags. The line of law enforcement agents there.
Yep.
During this face-off.
Can you imagine how fucking annoying this is if you're trying to drive home? Holy shit.
Appears to be a face-off.
Yeah, and it's tough to tell
Look at this.
from a distance, but it looked to be the color of the sheriff's deputies that are creating that wall there. Looks like they're trying to create a.
How long do you think police are?
Gotta get some better news anchors for this. You can't have normies going, well, it looks like they're building a wall over there, and well, it looks like that gentleman over there threw a brick through a window. Oh, geez.
Person crashes out and a protester gets shot. Well, that's what's scary, right?
Don says, I wonder if people have evacuated. People seem to be very calm. To someone else, I think TK said, was it TK? Someone, sorry, Jay Foot maybe, was saying that it was basically isolated to two areas, right? There was Compton, there was a unrest in Compton and at the ICE facilities. And then I guess mass protests, more of the normie protests happening in downtown LA and other areas. So the actual, it looks like the actual violent areas were fairly well contained in and of themselves. We'll see what this does in the morning if it starts spilling out. My prediction is it would be. I don't think it's going to become citywide, obviously, but it's certainly going to get bigger, depending on the federal response. If we start seeing bodies pile up, then that's a different thing. Although I don't believe the Fed's going to start killing people aggressively unless they're attacked directly. So, RK says World News Organization, i.e. Deutsche Welle, German press, Al Jazeera calling it a violent protest. They had commentators saying that what Trump is doing is inciting terror. Yes, all that. Inciting it by upholding the law about illegal immigration. That bastard.
Is like, in my opinion, I this is what I support, right? I mean, obviously I don't want them to run people over, right? But I support self-defense. I think that if you assault a police officer with what could be a deadly weapon, you should expect a proportionate response in force. I see no reason that us as a society can morally or ethically tell police officers you have to tank bricks being thrown at you. That is outrageous. Nobody should have to tank a brick. Nobody should have this happen. Blocking someone's way is also self-defense because you stopped me from going where a trap.
$5 over from Streamlabs from Ashley. Appreciate you, Ashley.
There, where am I supposed to do? Yeah, no, I get it, but like I don't want to see people get hurt, right? I mean, I can make a joke or say some bullshit, right? But like, I don't actually want to see this happen. But the reason why it happens is because nothing else happens. Like, the escalation is the problem. It would have never gotten to this point if these people had gotten arrested right as soon as they started popping off. The problem is that they haven't gotten arrested. They've been able to just kind of run wild and with no consequences do this stuff. I'm surprised no one's going to try yet. Yeah, exactly, right?
Lord Bill Hicks says, I would respect this guy if he used his millions of dollars to pay for someone to clean his room. It's part of his brand. He's done a series of videos, I haven't watched them yet, of basically his house in, I guess it's in Texas. I thought it was Chicago for some reason. I don't know why. His house in Texas apparently has fallen apart. So maybe he might have to use his millions of dollars to repair his entire house.
And so that's really the issue. No one wants anyone to get hurt, but if you're right-minded, you got to take people in their lives more seriously if they find themselves in front of a moving vehicle. Yeah, exactly. This is the new normal unless they get arrested. Exactly. Yeah, and I live in LA, and the people organizing these riots with buses or giving instructions to people how to get weapons and Facebook, other similar websites, it's extremely funded. Well, the problem is, like, so if it's so funded, why can't the FBI figure out who's doing it? Why can't they, if there are instructions of getting weapons to go to like a protest on Facebook, why can't they find out who's doing that on Facebook and arrest them? It's the FBI because they're the ones funding it. I mean, that's the best example. Like, okay, like at least that's a conspiracy theory that at least makes sense because nothing else even makes any sense.
They cannot get on that overpass.
You think Democrats should be held accountable for pushing it there? Absolutely not. Democrats are not wholesale accountable for this. Each individual person out there with a
Now, look, that might be his view. We'll give him that view. He's also a massive account. He's got to be careful what he says. So that's fine. I am not a massive account. I can be a bit more liberal with my speech to a degree. I do live in Australia, so I do also have to watch what I say. As long as I don't bring up I should be fine. But no, I think the Democrats should be definitely on the bill for this, at least partly. Their policies led to this. This is the direct result of having an open border and having no kind of controls over who you let into your country. Over time, you get this. You create the necessity for response because unless you want your country taken over, you're going to have to do something about it. So they're doing something about it, and of course, there's going to be a reaction to it because that's what people are primed to do. A whole bunch of people who we know, Soros funded or whatever, allegedly, who are paid professionals at responding, paid responders.
Baseball bat, a brick, or a rock is accountable for their own actions. It's not Bernie Sanders.
Now, granted, if you're going to bring it down to, are the Democrats responsible for this particular person doing a very particular thing, unless they're financed? No, that's not their fault. But if you create the conditions in which this thing is the most likely logical repercussion, then yeah, you get to share a little bit of that. That is on you. RK Mango says, if the protesters increase the civil unrest, there will be curfews and martial law. National Guard is only there to aid and support local law enforcement agencies. That's true until they get fired upon, if that happens. J Foot says, I never heard of this guy until the last month or so. I've been telling people for the last year, pay attention to this guy, and he's huge. He's huge, and he's got a very young demo. And he's been on an arc. So I wouldn't call him necessarily our guy, perhaps, but maybe. But he's getting there.
Sanders or Elizabeth Warren's fault that some retard decided to go out there and stand in the middle of the street. It's that retard's fault, and you've got to look at him. Now, unless they're explicitly organizing and telling people to do this, then yeah, of course you've got a conversation there. But let's look at the individual people and who's actually doing this.
At least what looks to be an
That's what I
overpass to
think.
me from our vantage
Look at
point.
this. This is crazy.
So this is obviously causing traffic in the area to come to a standstill. These roads are completely blocked.
So Trump's accountable for January 6th? Yeah, obviously. Obviously, yeah. Like, I mean, why would you even bring that up? Yeah, duh, of course. Like, you see, this is the problem that people like you have. You think this is a team. You think that like this is some kind of like a team thing. No, it's not a team thing, bro. Like, it's a gotcha. Like, what are you even bringing up? Probably go back and ban that guy. Like, what is this? Are you gonna bring that up again? Yeah, this is insane. Even like I thought he was right. Like, because I mean, I think he could have done a better job keeping people under control, etc. But it didn't happen. That's fine. But overall, yeah, absolutely, people are responsible. Yes. It's a rule of law. They always bring up January 6th. Do you know why? It's because they don't have any other examples.
Protesters have been gathering now for 2 hours, and it's hard for us to get our bearings.
Of course they bring it up.
Because we've been watching the images from...
Yeah, it's always a quote cui bono argument, But what about, it's like, okay, are you really comparing January 6th to what we're seeing here about some whack job throwing stones at cars driving down a street? Some guy stealing a podium is on par with setting buildings on fire and looting stores? Really? How much looting happened in D.C. during January 6th? Any? Maybe some outskirts. I'm sure maybe there was looting done by people who weren't attending the rally or the insurrection. But how many insurrectionists broke into stores and stole stuff? I'm willing to bet quite a small number, if any. Quite closer to zero than not. RK says, if Trump is responsible of January 6th, then why were there FBI agents encouraging people to storm Capitol? Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with you, RK. I don't think we need to even do this. We can if you want. I mean, it's fine. We can have the conversation. But I think at this point now, if you're holding on to an idea that that whole thing was totally organic and the media was completely right about everything they're saying, all that stuff, then I got nothing else to tell you. Long flu was an organic, and evolution's real, and dinosaurs have feathers now, and just whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you want to believe in, go ahead and believe in it at that point, because that was so painfully obvious that that was an op, at least on some level, that I'm out of. I have nothing else to say to convince people otherwise if they want to hold on to that. Our J Foot says a list of violent right-wing protests in the last 80 years is a lot shorter than the list of left-wing ones. Yeah, the whole end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s, the Weatherman Group, those damn right-wingers. Oh, all those Black Panthers. Oh, we know them. They're fascists. It's silly. Of course, you bring up Black Panthers. There's whoa, I mean, what about the Ku Klux Klan? What about them? A few burning torches. You get a few burning torches and the things down in a few states that you don't care about, compared to widespread sectarian violence in the streets. Yeah, no, that's same thing. Same. Tired of the double standards from the left. That's all they have, though, because it's not a double standard to them. They don't have a standard. They just hold you to something because they understand that you have standards. It's the same thing when they invoke Christianity. When an atheist left winger says, "Well, you're Christian. You should be loving these people. You should be loving them." XYZ, or turn the other cheek, or quoting some Bible verse. They would never be held to that standard, ever, for anything. They can be insulting as they want to Christians. They can say whatever the hell they want. They can do whatever they want. But if anyone reacts, oh, whoa, didn't Christ say? So, it's. I'm at the point now where I don't even see it as a double standard. I just see it as that's all they got. There's no point in even trying to hold them to anything, because they won't ever accept it.
The ground all this time, and now we see this shot from the sky, and it's tough for me to distinguish if this is. I don't believe what we're looking at this second is the exact same scene that we've been watching for the past couple hours.
I don't believe so.
What do you think happened on January 6th? It was awful. January 6th was really bad. I mean, I've said this 50 fucking times. The thing is that a lot of people try to bring this up. Like, I don't give a fuck about January 6th. That shit happened years ago. The people that did it went to jail like they should have. And they were in jail for fucking years. Like, if they had been tried for those crimes, the majority of them would have probably gotten out earlier than if they were sitting in there in the first place. They were pardoned? Yeah, but I know what is the criminal amount of time that you have for, like, getting in trouble for that? It's like probably 3 to 5 years, and they were there for 3 to 5 years. That's pretty fucking fair, guys. I'm sorry to say.
Well, 3 to 5 years in federal penitentiary, and they only served 3 to 5 years because Trump won and got them out of there. If Kamala had won, they were never getting out of that jail. Some of them would never have gotten out. So I get it, right? And again, with Asmongold, it's hard to see, discern what his actual opinions are versus the character, which I'm sure there's a little bit of that, and the fact that he's got 3.5 million subscribers just on YouTube alone. How many other millions? He's talking to potentially millions and millions of people. You gotta keep certain lines, I would say. RK says his response to liberals would be, well, you don't have any theological beliefs, so why should I take you seriously? Absolutely, yeah. My my steady rule. I mean, if I was in a formal debate with someone, that'd be different. But in my day-to-day life, if you don't have a prayer rule, there's no reason to talk theology to you, you know. And it doesn't even have to be a Christian. I would much rather talk to a Muslim who is at least has a prayer rule, is observing, has his rituals, all that stuff, rather than waste time with someone who's a non-believer completely. Because when I was an atheist, anti-theist, there'd be no reason to talk to me about it. You know, it would have fallen on deaf ears anyways, and it was just talking to a brick wall. So why bother?
Jesus.
I'm not doing anything.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey, look at that. Hey, he's choking him. Hey, look, hey.
This is
I'm
nuts.
not doing shit. Hey, I'm recording. Hey, it's all being recorded, pa. It's all being recorded. Dale,
Uh-oh. Oh.
Dale, I'm not doing anything.
See, the other thing too is that it's unequal warfare here, right? Because the guys in green, the cops, the ICE agents, all the rest of it, they have to at least play by some rules. Whereas these other guys, they don't have to play by any rules. In fact, they can use the rules that these guys have to play with against them. You know, and the only thing that could give these guys a bit more leeway is if they knew walking in that you go in and you do what you need to do, and if any complaints come, there's a shredder here. Whoop. What complaint? Huh? He was choking who? Oh, that sounds horrible. Lost the paperwork. Don't even know where it is.
I'm right here on the curb. What you gonna do? Nigga ain't put the fucking bags down. Niggas, you ain't gonna do shit. Hey, déjalo. Hey, just let it be. Déjalo, papa. Déjalo, papa.
Yeah, people are just losing their fucking minds nowadays. It's absolutely insane. And I'll see if I can find any more of these. This is the same
Spirit
one
of
from
Vengeful
today.
Son.
This is Brick Boy. This is crazy. Like, insane that this is even happening. And like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? Rest the recover.
And I would err on the side of believing that this is organic. That this guy just thought throwing stones at people and trying to inflict the most amount of damage possible, it's just a good time. This is the influence of demons.
Recording, yeah, exactly. These dudes don't give a fuck about cameras? Absolutely not. And so, resisting arrest warrants force? Yeah, of course it does. They probably allow these protests to happen since they know it makes the Democrats look bad and hope the people living there will switch sides during the midterms. I mean, like, maybe. Like, that's an optimistic outlook on it, right? I mean, in my opinion, I just think...
I love how a lot of people's analysis is like this 4D chess into the midterms, like it matters, or like, yes, oh yeah, they're doing all this to lay it up so they can gain more seats in Congress in the midterms. That's the whole spooky wooky chess. Like, not everything's about the midterm, guys. I know midterms for a lot of people is like, well, that's the next event. That's the next pay-per-view. It's the one I got to be really worried about. I got to show up to that one. So, you know, it's all building up to SummerSlam or midterms. Ooh. Joe Briefcase says, Lo, just came from that Asmongold video. You think you're going to see the Summer of Floyd 2.0? Yes. Sparking off in multiple cities. If we're going to go, let's say, the conspiracy route, right? In Minecraft, let's just suppose, maybe, in a video game, if I was the opposing party and wanted to create the most amount of problems for Trump possible domestically, I would light off as many different peaceful protests around the country as possible. So New York, LA, maybe start seeing some stuff in Texas, maybe not, because people are going to get shot. But, you know, I would not be surprised if we start to see tons of these other events just showing up all over the place. Even if it wasn't for mostly paid protesters, the other thing you got to think about is memetics. So groups of people who see this going on and feel like they're being left out, and there's a meaning here. We can be part of the resistance. We're going to be the French resistance. We're going to libertad. Oh, storm the Bastille. You know, like put Les Mis on the soundtrack. those folks are real too. And they're going to spark off. Because where there's models, there will be those who mimic them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some homegrown, totally organic, not colluding with anything, groups start to do some stuff, which will beg responses. So this summer in America is going to get very, very interesting. We'll be here for it, folks. Throwing bricks off bridges has been a problem in some areas, even with the protests. Yeah. It doesn't take, like I said, it doesn't have to be all paid, nefarious, conspiracy, this, that, and the other thing. It can just literally be some whack jobs who see this and go, oh, we're doing that now? Great, cool. Throw bricks off bridges.
These people are fucking morons, but like, I mean, you could be right.
Which will give the federal government even more reason to have responses. And as someone in the chat said earlier, it's the summer of Palantir.
But let's see if there's any more of this in general. But yeah, it's just crazy how much this is going on, right? ICE will not stop and promises arrests for federal agents. Promises arrests. Like, Jesus Christ. How many promises do we fucking need? Yeah, like, I'm so sick of these promises. Like, oh, it's gonna happen. Like, this has been going on now for months, man. Yeah. All promises, no action. Yeah.
See, and like stuff like this, which is just wanton. Now, granted, some of these guys might be getting paid or given assurances or whatever have you, but the actual violence itself is nonsensical. This is what I'm talking about, total violence. Where you just start seeing people chimp out. And again, George Floyd protests, all this stuff, we saw that before. Obviously, we're going to see some more of that, again, depending on the federal response. But the actual acts of violence we're getting to see here, throwing bricks at car windows and all the rest of it, that's not organized. This is spontaneous evil.
Yeah. What is this? Like, what are you doing? You just...
This is also subdued male rage that wants to come out. And it doesn't matter the color or which side these guys are on or anything like that. This is what's coming.
Destroying random shit.
Phil says, a blessed feet is host of Holy Pentecost to us all. Thank you, Phil. God bless.
This is nuts. Yep. Look, they're helping. Why do this? They do it because they think they can get away with it. That's the reason why. They all think that they can get away with it, and so they do it. I'm going to look at a couple more, then we're going to look at some other stuff, okay? A lot of these guys are not getting laid. Yep. They're just having an excuse so they can demolish shit? Yeah, exactly. Left-wing fatigue, can't wait for the next right-wing landslide next election? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, anybody that supports or tries to make an excuse out of this shit, I would never vote for them. Like, this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. I've been living in California the last 40 years. Look at the history of California since the 80s. I mean, again, like, that's just really... looking at the stuff from going on in your country from the outside, it really looks like it's just red versus blue. Actual politics, future of your country, and the well-being of your citizens are just side quests. No, the problem is that the problem with is the amount of alarmism in media and the emotional escalation of all rhetoric in media and also in politics. Like, everything is elevated to the most extreme and most, like, the worst possible thing, right?
It's also what happens with decentralized media. Everyone thinks decentralization and all that stuff is fantastic and great and good. In some cases, it is good. I mean, it allows me to do these things as well. But as you create more data and more points of nodes, let's say, of information, of presentations, you then create more noise. And as you create more and more noise, one, you creates more things for people to analyze, which just creates more data, which creates more analyze. You know, we're surfing in a sea of almost too much data and too much noise, so that the thing that cuts through is the people who make the most loudest noise. So the more panic, or the more emotion, or anything that can get you there, that pathos action, if they can get you emotionally involved, they win. They get your attention. Now they got you. So it's attention capture. Jay Foot says, wasn't Palantir a government project from the beginning anyways? Just legal cover for what the government was already doing. I think a lot of these programs start off that way. They start off as a government program, and then as they grow into fruition, they kind of get handed off to corporations who can kind of formalize them in ways. Because the thing, too, is as long as it stays a government program, it kind of has to stay within the government. You put it into Palantir, into a corporation like that, then they can start selling it and moving it around to all these places in the world. And hey, it's not the U.S. government doing it. Not us. Right? It's these guys. They're doing business. They're businessmen doing business things. God bless them. Right? So I think there's a lot of that. Starlink, even SpaceX stuff was really just U.S. military stuff that handed off to Elon. Microsoft famously was just kind of given to Bill Gates. I think there's quite a few of those where the true genius in technology and all these things is very few and far between, because technology, especially when you're getting into computers and data and all the rest of it, it's not just like, someone could design a car, who knew enough engineering could like self-design a car and present it and shock the world. When you get into some of these more complex things, you need teams upon teams upon teams to work on these things. And it's not like Peter Thiel's an AI programmer overnight. I know Elon Musk likes to create that mythology around him that he's this, engineering guru kind of guy. I don't think that's. He might have. He's probably better than I am, but I'm not good at it at all. So that's not saying much. But I don't think Elon is as much a genius as people allude to. He's certainly weird, and I think he is very smart. But I don't think he's the tech. He's not the Tony Stark that everyone wants to make him out to be. RK says, what is sad is when neo-Nazis and other white supremacists did their protests in Charlottesville know how to peacefully protest than left-wing protests. Maybe you say that again. Type that out again. Take your time.
That's what I think. Mm-hmm. How is it not on the politicians that brought this chaos here? You regularly support murder and SA charges for everyone involved. Why not now? Oh, I do. No, I do support them, but like that's like a secondary effect. Like that's like a after the dust settles effect.
Here, watch this for a bit. Watch Asmund talk. I'll be right back. Just need to use the facilities. Here, do that for you. Make them big. We're back.
Like what I'm saying is like you solve the immediate problem of the people that are doing it, and then you figure out anybody else that like kind of caused it to happen later on. There's a lot of black officers there. I wonder what's the excuse for the rioters then, since a lot of riots are very much race-based in a sense. Kind of ironic. Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, it's just, I think, again, majority is, the same group of people. They have jobs. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, police officers have, like, are of every race. Of course. You know, like, minorities, if they agree with them, yeah, that's it. It's like getting in front of a car like that. I mean, like, how, like, when do you, like, at what point do people like this start going to jail and getting arrested? And this is a Home Depot? Is this actually a Home Depot? I don't think this is a Home Depot. Is it? Damn. That poor dog. I didn't even see the dog. See, like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? Is like, how do you as a, like, as a government official, how do you let this shit happen? Right? I mean, like, I don't understand it at all.
Well, it's easier when you're sitting comfortably in your office and your desks, and this part of maybe part of a general plan. The other thing too is, what are you going to do? If you're a government official, what are you going to do about this? We have become so divorced from violence in our everyday life that actual scenes of violence stun us. Real deal, actual physical violence in the streets that is not just part of a movie production doesn't compute. Because guaranteed, almost every single person in politics right now in LA has never gotten in a fist fight. Or maybe one or two of them have. Very few of them have ever been exposed, and even then it was a schoolyard fight in high school. Very few of them have ever been exposed to real deal violence or been around very violent human beings. Which is good. It's nice to not have to live that life. But at the same time, they don't understand what violence really is. This is why we're ruled by foxes and not by lions. And foxes understand soft power. They'll send people out there to deal with it. But increasingly, what they've had to do is, even in their police and security forces, because they're doing corrupt, weird stuff, they're going to drive off all the good guys and only left with the cowards. Or with the people who are like, hey, man, I'm just here to collect my retirement. I'm not going to get myself messed up over nothing. So your security forces have been demoralized, right? Been demoralized or corrupted or in some ways, shape, or form, neutered. And even those guys, most likely, for the majority of them, they're not really exposed to, they didn't grow up with violence, like real deal violence. Some of them maybe, but a lot of them probably not. So as men have become less and less violent in our everyday lives, that means we're less and less violent around each other. And it's something I've talked about with Charles Padilla quite a bit. That language of violence, that mentality that you need to have in order to understand it and respond to it in the right way, that's gone. I'm not trying to say I got it. I'm just simply saying that's what the problem with Western man is now. So now when you have barbarian hordes coming in, and a lot of these guys do come from violence, they understand the language of violence very well. They speak it fluently. And they're not afraid to go there in a moment's notice. So your responses from both either from politicians or from the men on the ground are going to be a little bit hesitant because they're speaking a language they don't understand. They see them speaking it and they see the results of it, obviously, but they don't physically understand what to do. This would not have happened in the 40s for a lot of reasons, but one of the big reasons why that wouldn't have happened in the 1940s is most of the men in the 1940s knew violence. In some way, shape, or form, they were raised with it. They saw it around them. They were products of it. Not just going to wars, like in their own, growing up with violent parents or in violent neighborhoods, or where you could settle a fight with a punch. So a lot of people just walked around and minded their P's and Q's. And it wasn't until those kind of things started to get nurtured out of us. Got Ali subscribe and thank you. But as that sort of gets cultured, civilized out of us, it's the wrong kind of civilization. It's kind of like wrong kind of civil. Because this is not civil, not being civil to being polite and being well-mannered and, cooperative. No, this is civil to the point where you're scared. This is cowardly. Because you're not exposed to it. You understand the repercussions of your actions. Both the people doing these things and the people who are now, unfortunately, going to have to respond in some way. Captain Coke just tipped me $2. Appreciate you. He's a broke white man, but he's willing to fight. There's lots of ways of fighting. So I've said in this age of total violence that's coming down the pike, a lot of the things everyone thinks about, kinetics, fistfights. And there'd be plenty of opportunities for that too, depending where you live. But there's always going to be I think you're going to start seeing violence break out in many other forms as well, as people have this desire to tear things down. The old order is no longer working for us, and we need a new thing. There's a thing that I think Matthew and I are going to cover on the next Network Armageddon Electric Boogaloo about the new American century. I don't know what they're how they're framing it, but basically Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance seem to be the two figureheads of this 20-year plan that they've talked about. So we're going to dig into that more. And we're also, we're seeing some weird stuff going on all over the place too. And in Russia, they're basically whitewashing and bring back Stalin, bring back some Soviet figures that are very interesting, and basically saying, were they so bad? Yeah, I know he killed a lot of people, but he won the war. This is coming back into the zeitgeist. Very interesting times. RK says, imagine how we would do in the wartime economy. We ain't ready for that extreme. There would be that, I think about that a lot, RK. I think it's sort of like how COVID happened. The first lockdown, the first 2 weeks of lockdowns. And everyone... obviously something more dramatic, like harsh austerity, would be much more severe. Bank runs. Look at Greece, 2028, 2008, 2009, whatever. So there'd be a shock, and that would go on for whatever, depending where you live, 2 weeks, 2 months, something. But as the shock wore off, human beings are very, and this is kind of what people count on, I think, is that people get very kind of used to things. You kind of slump into things, and you just kind of get used to it. And you make do, and you start to ration, and maybe the ration can even be fun. Make a game out of it or something like that. People will find ways to accept it because they have to, because there's not really much choice, is there? What'll be interesting to see is if we get into energy rationing and things like that. That was certainly part of the old plan. And here in Australia, Don, myself, maybe a few others listening, that might be a real reality for us, where I won't be able to do all this stuff because I'll only be given like an hour or two of electricity a day, kind of thing. Maybe making this kind of sound extreme, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if that starts happening, either through government mandates or through weird brownouts. Why is that happening? Oh, RK, we are civil. Yes, we are very civil. Some of us have manners. Some of us are well behaved. Brought up, I've worked in a barn, not brought up in one. Tiffany Angel, hey, please don't forget to thumbs up and share. Yes, let the people know. Listen to Tiffany. That's one way you can help out. If you're poor like me, God bless you. God bless you, Tiff. Yeah, folks, if you can send some money, send some money. If you can't, thumbs up, share it out. All the extra attention always goes a long way as well. We got that goal up here, but it's a month-long goal. We'll get there. I'm not too worried about it. What else is going on? And thank you for subscribing, Abe Dinkus. Love the name.
How low can
He's the most honest dinkus there.
Pretty low. Pretty low. As you heard him, it'll be George Floyd all over again. Well, I think the solution to that is the same thing that they should have done back then. Just call in the National Guard and arrest the people that are committing the crimes. Anybody who wants to protest, it's totally fine. But you can't destroy property in order to protest. They should have done that back in 2020. Like, the fact that they didn't handle the George Floyd protests properly, I think isn't an excuse for them to not handle these protests either properly. Because I think these protests are going to do the exact same thing again. But white people riot and destroy property whenever their football teams win. The last time that happened in what do you call it? The last time that happened in, I guess, France, there were a lot of different races of people there. Like, it was not just like, oh, are we really gonna act like it's all white people over in Europe? It's absolutely not. I mean, you just go look at the tapes. Go watch the tapes. Like, it's not even it. Uh-oh. Protest is one thing, but rioting's another thing? Yeah.
RK says, some will adapt, however, the culture of our society isn't the same as it was in 1941. Got to think that generations been through World War I, Spanish flu, Prohibition, Great Depression. They were united. Yeah. I mean, the living conditions were also much different coming from the industrial age. Things didn't really clean up. You know, our idea of the clean suburbs and all that stuff didn't exist till after World War II. So a lot of people lived in, I wouldn't call them slums necessarily, but, you know, not great neighborhoods, let's say, working class neighborhoods. Like in Montreal, there was Griffintown, where the Irish lived. And I'm not saying it was a crap hole like Compton, but like people lived with less. So the hard part for people, and people are learning to live with less now, but there's still a lot of expectations to have more. The real challenge and the big question is, if that is taken from them, the expectation to having more is taken or put into massive questions, well, then what's the response culturally? And that might be different for every culture. Some cultures might band together. Others might fall apart. This is why I keep saying, you got to choose your king now. Prodigal son, return, repent, redeem. At least with the church community, you're bound together by one common practice. That's going to bind you. There's also a trust there. You can meet strange people, but if you're all legitimately worshiping, there's a trust factor that comes from communal worship and sacrifice and ritual that you can't have outside of that. So I think as these things begin to collapse, or tighten at least, especially financially, the financial one is going to be hard for a lot of people. It's one of the things I keep talking about, why I keep talking about it or bringing it up. Not because I have necessarily any answers for anybody to what to do, but it's like awareness. So when it starts happening, you're not freaking out, and you kind of see that this might be a long haul. At least I would expect, and this is just me shooting from a suppose. I don't have no reason. I have nothing, no inside information on this. This is my suppose. I think we're going to get into a 2-year program, at least 2 to 3 years. Bring us right up to. I said this in the stream last night about the Japanese rice crisis, is that we're coming up to 80 years of the Marshall Plan era, post Nuremberg, post World War, come up to 80 years. You know, so the Soviet Empire lasted basically 80 years. Post Nuremberg is looking like it's going to last 80 years. There's another place that's coming up to an 80-year curse. It's interested in that. So, a whole bunch of things happening all at once. That's why it feels like it can be overwhelming, because this is what living in history feels like. Captain Coke just super chatted $5. Appreciate you, my friend. Dawn says COVID saw us go from a 4-crate tiger veggie garden to a 40-crate veggie and egg self-sufficient. Yeah. So I think the people who are paying attention are going to be fine. The people who are going to get caught off guard, if we care about them, we bring them up to speed as fast as we can. And if we don't care about them for whatever reasons, we guard against them. People can get really dangerous real fast, eh?
It's crazy to me that this violent minority of leftist extremists isn't being dealt with by the authorities. It's very crazy to me, too, because here's the issue, is that every day that you don't deal with it, it gets bigger. Every day that you don't clamp down on this stuff, it gets worse and worse and worse. And it makes you look worse, too. Is this chaos in Austin? Well, I don't know what it's like in Austin. I have no idea about Austin. Yeah.
Okay, you don't get to shriek and go, "Oh my God!" Like if you're hanging around the ICE detention center when there was all a bunch of like protesters and people throwing tear gas and all that stuff, you got two options. If you're sticking around there, you're doing it for a reason. Get a gas mask. Get yourself prepared. Become a good little trooper. If you're a normie and you shouldn't be there, don't be there. What are you doing? Oh my God, they're doing the thing that obviously they're gonna do. Like, oh, I got shot by a rubber bullet. Were you standing in the place where they're shooting rubber bullets? Yes. Then why were you there?
Yeah, you want a civil war? No. What do you think do you think this is a 50-50 thing? Do you think average people support throwing bricks at police officers? Absolutely not. The entire premise of this is just outrageous. Absolutely not. Yes, you do? No, they don't. Like, this is, again, any sort of polling or anything like that, this is a 90-10 issue. This is absolutely not. Like, it's more than 1% that support this. Yeah, sure.
Let's game plan this out a little bit, though, right? Because it's Civil War, Tim Poo. Okay. Let's plan this out a little bit, because we can make it. I think make an argument. If you're Trump and you're that side, letting things spill out to a certain extent, you don't want to get it away from you, right? Because you always know you can do some stuff, but letting it get a little bit more spicy is really good for you on a geopolitical stage as well, because you can now turn to Israel, Ukraine, a whole bunch of people, and go, "Hey, man, we got problems at home." But you started, we got problems at home. We got to deal with them. Sorry, see you later. But I'm not answering the call. Sorry, Zelensky and all this stuff. We got to funnel money to here. This is confirming my suspicion that one of the big reasons why Trump and co. wanted that ceasefire from Russia and Ukraine last month, and they were really pushing on it, like, no, ceasefire. And I was talking with my show with Jim Jatras, go listen to There and Now with Jim Jatras. I was speculating on that, going, it feels like they want to cool this right now so they can then go deal with something else. And Matt Erickson and I have talked about this a lot, where our speculation was this was always going to be the play, that they're going to reshore a lot of American troops to America so they can go to basically to war with the border. And LA is, I think, one of those steps. So they were trying to get that peace in the negotiation. And then it fell apart, and they're like, okay, out. We're go. It's summer, we got to go. They maybe had a definite date set that we go now. So maybe the first week of June, we go. Because these things got to be planned out. So, wouldn't be surprised if that's coming true too. See, another reason to pay attention to me. I occasionally say things that, more than occasionally, say things and they seem to they at least narratively seem to hold together. So, Jay Foot says my grandmother is 93. God bless her. She grew up in a tin roof in an outhouse in the U.S. It's not that long ago, man. My grandfather would have been, he was born in 1916, but they didn't come from nothing. You go a little bit further back from 1945. Things look very, very different in America, Canada, and many other places. Obviously, there's neighborhoods in developed areas for sure, in certain cities, but outside of that, or even within a lot of cities, even with a lot of white neighborhoods, it wasn't, suburb land. I think people lose sight of that too and talk about magic white people all the time. And I'm not a race traitor or something like that. I understand the arguments. The issue for me was always, and this is why I'm not very much of a racialist. I'm a culturalist. The issue having here in America isn't really about race. It's freezing people of a certain race in a certain culture. And maybe they need to be, and maybe they're frozen there for their own reasons and their own things that they're not letting go. I'm all down with that. But this is also why you need a strong religion in your country. Separating church from state ain't going to work. As I've said, you need that regio. Region with the people, ruler, strong government. That's understandable. Everyone needs to know who's in charge, what the rules are, and you need a religion. And everyone's got to be at least understand what that religion is. And if you're stepping outside from that, there's repercussions of that too. And you need those things to hold it together. Loving yourself is not a good idea. That's just pride. That's just vainglory. You can have respect. You can have self-respect in terms of, taking care of oneself and not hating oneself, because that's the other end of that spectrum. But self-love, often as is presented, and I don't put words in your mouth, but I know you're commenting, so I'm just going to fill that out. Is that the self-love programs we've seen running through it, even this sort of like an idea of adoration of characteristics, that's all comes down to pride, and you got to get rid of that too, or at least address it, keep it in check. Don says, she's more of a neurologist. If you can't say it in your accent, Don, it's just not real.
Sure. But it's like probably 5 or maybe at the most.
Let's go.
No.
Most 10% of people that support this. It's insane. Like, there's no civil war that's going to happen over the police officers arresting people for throwing bricks at cars. Like, what are you even thinking? Again, it's so fucking embarrassing that it's happening. Absolutely so embarrassing.
Let's see, California's not okay.
It's another California crash out. I know, it's been a whole day since the last one, but it's happened again.
This scene from San Diego doesn't even look like America anymore, but it's exactly what I voted for, as ICE conducted a surprise...
Tiffany says it's actually pretty easy to live within your means. I have a beautiful, durable designer wardrobe I got mostly secondhand with tags at consignment shops, decent used car paid with cash, older phone. Oh yeah, no, the way you can do it really is being anti-mimetic. So this is a Girardian claim, right? Girardian mimetics theory comes down to desires. So desires are external. We don't know really what to want until we see other people want them. Luke Burgess, who's written a lot about Girard, and he's written his own book, Wanting, which I always tell people to pick up if you can. The audiobook is quite good as well. That's how I think that's how I listen to it. He proposes this idea of being anti-mimetic, which is just that, right? Understanding that these desires are externalized and you're being led. So people want the new phone. It's like, why? Why do you want the new phone? Well, because everyone has a new phone. It's like, oh, so you want it because they have it. It's not because the new phone's really any good or you need it. I need new clothes. Why? What's wrong with your old clothes? Well, they look out of date. Well, that's what other people are telling you. They're clothes. Get over it. It's fine. Now, that's, again, doesn't mean you have to look like crud or anything like that. You can have your own style. But when you understand that you're being led and you're being manipulated by other people, and you're essentially manipulating yourself into wanting what they have because they have it, then you can start to break it in your own. You can start breaking those frames and go, okay, I don't even want this because they have it. Do I need it? No. I think it also comes down to, even when you get into metaphysics, like success and everything else like that. It's fine, and it's fine to want. You see someone else doing well. I want to do well like them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there can be that sort of possessiveness, that almost jealousy that comes out of it. That has to be addressed, and you have to keep that under control. Our case is we are too divided. What's sucked every 4 years, roughly 50% of the country votes, regardless who they're voting for. They find them, it becomes down to team mentalities. It's memetics as well. Everyone's voting Democrat. Everyone around me is voting Democrat. I got to vote Democrat or liberal or this or that, whatever it is. The thing I'm trying to get through to people is that it's all a big giant lie anyways. It's a manipulation. So I did this on the last Network Armageddon. If my mic just dropped out. Network Armageddon Lecture Boogaloo with Matt Erickson over in King Pill. Everyone should go subscribe to that show when you have a chance. But I'll do this really quickly, because this is something that I've been working on now. I'm trying to understand. So I talked about this liberal frame, right? And as I've deepened my understanding of that, liberal frame contains all the ideologies, all the things that are liberalism. All comes right down to Enlightenment theories like nominalism, empiricism, materialism. Metaphysics doesn't exist. It's everything down to the physical, right? Or we can assume all these other metaphysical characteristics are just derivations of the mind. So you get into evolution and all these other things come from these concepts. How it used to work, at least for a long time, is you had the king at the top, right? Or a leader of some sort. And the king is actually fed sovereignty and power by the lords. In my example, let's say you have 10 lords, and they all decide we're going to give 10% of our sovereignty up into this guy called the king, and he's going to resolve a lot of our problems and make a lot of decisions for us because we keep getting into fights. This is a Girardian idea as well. The more alike we are, the more rivalrous we become. So the lords are fighting each other all the time. Like, okay, look, this is getting silly. Let's take a little bit of power. We still have 90% of our own sovereign power, but we're giving 10% into this office. We're going to call it the king, and he's going to rule and make decisions for us. And as long as he's prospering and making right decisions, and we're all doing well, he gets to stay the king. And the minute he starts, if he becomes a schmuck and he starts screwing up, he's not the king anymore. And we go back to the warfare. So you have the king, you have the lords, and then you had the mercantile class, essentially. And then you had this, peasants and workers after that. But then you had the merchants. And they were underneath the lords, and they helped give the lords money and stuff and built things for them. And then you had the peasants underneath that, right? So here's your classic how it always used to work. For thousands of years, this is more or less how it worked. Yes, find me an example where this wasn't the case, but let's just say within, let's say, feudal Europe, this is Western civilization. This is the model. Okay, so what happened is that the merchants started getting more and more powerful, especially when trade routes were opened up. All of a sudden, when Byzantium fell and the Ottomans took over that whole area, it forced the lords and all these other merchants to go find other trade routes, which made them develop better sea trade, which then led to things like the Dutch East India Company and the British naval fleet. So then they started developing this other thing that comes in within liberalism, mercantilism. In fact, I would defend, or I would state, that liberalism as we understand it, all those things, nominalism, all the rest of it, is really just in service to mercantilism. Because let's say this is the normal frame, this is the normal way things are going to go. The merchants took all that stuff and inverted it. This gives you an idea of also why we're seeing the inversion of these archetypes. So, in the late 19th century, in the beginning of the 20th century, we see the rise of the vengeful father, which is an inversion of the wise father, which helps the merchants do what? Dethrone all the kings and bring them to heel. Get rid of the concept of the king. Now, if you think of the king essentially as, let's say, the ruler, and the lords would be like, let's say, the political class, or your elites, political elites, and your merchants are still your merchants, right? All your billionaires and all those people, okay? So in this case, these guys rule. They're in charge. City of London, merchant class, they're in charge. They got all the power. They have all the connections. They have all the leverage. And they rule over the political elites who basically rule over the king. So what they also did at the same time is they invented this thing called the middle class, which is basically us. Don't think of this so much as money. Just think of it as a grouping, right? And they gave them middle class, clever little them, votes, and little bits of power, and rights, and all these things that they could fight over. It's givvies. Look, you're part of this. You're a citizen. You're going to be a nice little citizen. You get all these nice little things. Isn't that great? Because we believe it's still like this. That's what we all think it is. The rule is really in charge. That, Elon Musk isn't standing toe-to-toe with Donald Trump. Right? Technically. That's how it's supposed to be. But we know it's actually inverted. That Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and all the rest of them, they have way more power than Donald Trump. Or maybe not in this incarnation of Donald Trump, but before that, now we're starting to see a different thing going on. But let's not get too confusing. So in this inverted world, this is why we're seeing inverted archetypes. So that instead of the prodigal son, we get the vengeful son. So instead of the divine nurturing mother, we get the devouring mother, or the smothering mother. And it's not going to work. It's not going to change until we flip it. And I think this age that we're going into, which I would suspect about 60 years, is going to be a flipping. Now, does that mean that when we flip it back to here, everything's great? I don't know. I have no idea. I suspect people have asked me, what do you think happens after the age of the vengeful son? I believe we'll enter an age of empire. And what that looks like and how that works and all those other things, I don't know. If the technocrats get their way, then I don't know what that looks like. We can suppose. Fill in the chats. Put in the comment section below when you're watching this feature. Sure. I will entertain all thoughts. I think for our purposes right now, that almost feels a little bit too far away. There's a lot of things we got to deal with right here. Again, when I was talking to Charles Spiegel in our last talk, I was asking about 15-minute cities and, digital passports and all the rest of it. And his response was really quite good. He's like, look, man, I got to worry about Latino gangs shooting up my neighborhood. I'm not that worried about digital IDs. We'll worry about that when we have to worry about it. But right now, let's worry about this. And I think that's good advice. There's lots of things right here. Like, as I talked about primal frame versus civil frame, we've been moved into primal frame thinking where everything's right here. Everything's existential, immediate. Reaction. And what we need to do is start to pull out a bit. And this is also why I think the story of the prodigal son is when he returns and he repents and he begins that process of redemption from his father. He changes from the prodigal son to the prudent son. What is prudence? Well, now he's going to have discernment. And from discernment, now we can have justice. Now we can have judges. Now we can have righteousness. But you don't just get those things because you're doing things that you think are righteous, that you think are good, that you think are just. You have to be able to understand what they are. And you need distance for that. You're here, you can't do it. When you're here, you're more likely just to do more damage than any good. But we're here. So we got to find the mechanism to step back a bit. Chat is going off. I may not be able to catch up, but I'll let you guys talk it out in the chat. Any direct questions, send me a super chat or ask it in the form of a question. I think I'm caught up here. Because we got Don and Tiff are talking. Everyone's talking. Be part of the chat.
Raid on a restaurant.
I love that.
Doesn't even look like America anymore, but it's exactly what I voted for.
There are so many people that feel this way.
This Asian guy, by the way, his voice is fantastic. I love it. I love it when Asian guys are like second generation, third generation. They now have a fully Western voice, and a voice comes out of their face. And you're like, that I didn't expect that one. I wasn't necessarily expecting ching chong chong, right? I didn't necessarily think that was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting this. Quite the time slot here. I'm taking all the time slots, taking them all, doing the whole dang thing. For those who are not going to church, or those who have already been to church, depending on which time zone you're in, we're gonna go late. Why not? late for me, into the day for you. I want to see if there's any developments. We're going to give it a little bit of time. We'll check back on see the situation in LA after we watch this one. Iceman says, I already know I'm in the Vengeful Sun camp. It feels so good. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
Yes. Thank fucking God we're finally dealing with these psychos.
ICE conducted a surprise raid on a restaurant in San Diego, with the residents getting very upset.
Moldy Apple says, Vengeful Sun energy feels like shit. I think only, well, I won't say for you, Moldy, but I think it feels worse the more you're aware of it. When you're aware of what it is, it really then makes you go, oh, I'm imbibing that. You know, it's like a lot of people before Christianity don't have a problem with their browser history, and then you start becoming real deal Christian and you start having a problem with your browser history, your old browser history, if you see what I'm saying. It has to become that reaction, that sort of like distaste, like I don't like that feeling in me, because I know what that leads, and that ain't good. Tiffany Angel says, one thing on my wish list is a sewing machine. My mom used to redecorate our whole house a couple of times a year, make new curtains and pillows. I'd come home from school to a new place. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Uh-oh. Apparently they heard that Stephen Miller guy. They were like, okay, all right, we're going to go to the restaurants then.
Even trying to block the cop's car.
Wow. Great.
Ah, there it is. This stuff will only stop, and this type of behavior will only stop when they get arrested. Tear gas isn't enough. It's gonna bother them for like maybe a couple hours, maybe a day or so. Like I've been maced before. Actually, I've been pepper sprayed before. My friend got pepper spray, and I said, "Do you know if it works?" He's like, "I don't know. You tell me." And of course, he sprays me with it. And man,
you need better friends. If my friend did that, no longer my friend. I'd be like, okay, we're done here. It was an accident. I know, but right in the face, you got me. No, that's not. The Home Depot wars. The Home Depot wars have begun.
it does work. It really does. How to feel it sucks.
You know, and the thing is, to his point, you wouldn't even have to arrest all these ladies. If you grab one of those ladies and WWF'd her to the ground, that would scare out of the crowd. This is the thing, is that people think they understand violence because they've watched movies. Like they're like, I watched John Wick, I got it. It's like, no, you don't. And you don't even have to be the recipient of that violence. You just have to see it happen. And other people go, okay, well, that looks awful. Don't want that to happen to me. I'm going to go over here. So all it would take is one of these guys to put a period on something, and a lot of people around them would button up and move along, which wouldn't prevent them from going down doing some other stuff down on the next block. But if everyone starts to be met with that same resistance, just pick one out of the crowd, do something, and not just haul them in a car and hold them down. No, do it publicly where they see it.
Are you pissed? No. Yeah, not really. Uh-oh.
Loud bangs and smoke filled the air as stun grenades exploded on the streets of South Park. U.S. immigration and...
You've got to come in and bring in the police and arrest these people en masse. It's only going to stop. These people are only going to stop this behavior when they have a degree of accountability for it. That's the big problem. It's in South Park, yeah. You know, truth is stranger than fiction, I guess. And that's the issue. Like, if you have people standing in the way of a police car, well, then they're committing a crime. They're intentionally preventing the police from being able to do their job. Like, just immediately arrest them and charge them with something. Like, I don't even know, like, why is this even, like, why is this even a conversation? This seems like such a simple idea. What's the issue? The problem is they'll go, I told you so. What do you do with that? I'd say you're right. Shouldn't have done it.
Customs enforcement agents using the devices to scatter the crowd of people blocking their cars and cussing at agents. General Manager Renato Amatrano says agents provided a warrant and scanned everyone's IDs. He believes 3 employees could not provide identification and were taken away.
It should have been 4 employees. It should have been him being taken away for questioning for how he managed to hire 3 illegal aliens.
We got Lord Bill Hicks in the chat. Yo! Abe Dinkus says, finally got the family calmed down to bed. That's always a good feeling.
How is it that you just accidentally hired 3 illegal aliens?
Heartstring says this will not end well for the protesters. Well, it depends, right? So far, nothing's being done to the protesters. So if we get another, this is how you get more Summer Floyd, is if this continues where nothing's being done and the cops are just doing the whole stand down, wait and see, and there might be a lot of good reasons for that. I'm not saying that they should do, I don't know what, right? But I'm just saying, if people don't get any kind of pushback, that's essentially giving them encouragement. And as soon as they become more encouraged, then you're going to start seeing more people medically carry out violence all over the place. So I think this morning we're going to check back and see any news stories. If any starts happening, let me know in the chat, and we'll cut to it. But I suspect we're going to start seeing. I suspect, anyways, that we're going to start seeing some real deal responses from the Fed. If that doesn't happen, then this summer is going to get real interesting.
And arrest the people who hire them. Yeah, like I don't like this is the way I see it. I actually don't blame the illegals that much. I think the main fault lies with the business owners, because the illegals are just following the incentive. If I lived in Venezuela or one of these other countries that's like problematic, I would want to come to America too. I would want more than anything to come to America. And so, like, and why is it? Well, it's because you can get a job here. They are the ones that are enabling it. They create the carrot. So if you don't go after the people making the carrots, then you're never going to solve this problem. Everyone's following that incentive, though? Yeah. Do it the legal.
Asmongold was born with a face for thumbnails. It's true. It's that long face, right?
Way though? Well, yeah, of course, right? But like, you can, am I crazy for saying that? Like, I can totally empathize and see why illegal aliens come here. Of course, it makes sense. Absolutely. But it's really on the government and it's on these businesses to hold these people accountable.
So contrary to what they want you to think, they aren't just shaking down.
Also, what's important in mind is that the people that are doing this, it's about stopping the behavior. Because ultimately, the goal shouldn't be putting people in jail. It should be making a behavior stop happening. And until you hold people personally responsible for hiring these people intentionally and not vetting them intentionally so they can, like plead ignorance, then it's just going to keep happening.
Random brown people in the streets, it seems they're going after specific criminals that haven't turned themselves in, then collecting anybody also undocumented that they discover collaterally.
But yeah, it's AoE damage. You go after one person that's like some sort of like, a predator or whatever, and there's like 4 other people around them that are also illegal. Well, shouldn't have been here.
Also exposes their boss for knowingly employing them and potentially others.
Yeah.
As the Trump administration has already handed out millions of dollars of fines for.
Not enough. Put them in jail. Put them in jail for human trafficking. This will stop overnight. Fines don't work. Fines are nice, and they're, like a traffic fine, like, speeding or whatever. Okay. But like, no. You've got to put people like this in jail. You can't put a business in jail. That's the issue. There is somebody who made the decision not to vet these people. You find out who that person is at the company, and you arrest that person, and you put them in jail.
$5 from Slosher. Good to see you, Slosher. Yeah, I mean, you have to go upstream too. I don't believe that. I don't agree with Asmongold as much. Abe Dinkus, have a good night, buddy. I will talk to you soon. God bless you. Fines don't work, absolutely. I don't even know if jail time really works when you're talking about something that's widespread as hiring on illegals in like a state of California. It may be a place where there's very few, and then you can make an example out of one place, and then everyone can get their act together. That might be different. But in a state like California, where how do I want to guess how many illegal immigrants are working at businesses that are being paid under the table? Do you want to take just a crack at how many? Millions, most likely, right? Hundreds of thousands at least. So it's not even that shutting down businesses or putting their owners in jail wouldn't shock people, and maybe shock some people into getting, doing the right thing in this case. But it's so widespread that a lot of people would probably just like button down and hopefully it passes over. Do a little Passover kind of thing, like let it pass over me, hide them. See. Because there's a lot of people you have to start putting in jail. Like lots. The issue really, and this is constant, is that, and it's the same thing with the language of violence, is we can look at these things and very, logically, dispassionately say what must be done. We should do this, this, and this, and then it would fix itself, right? We think. And maybe it would. But what we don't ever take into account is the will to do these things. Do we have the will? And I'm not talking about the Trump administration necessarily, although that's a big component. But do we have the will on the ground to maintain it and to push it to its logical conclusions? Do we have the will that Cupelli did in El Salvador, where the people were like, good, fix it. Fix it. And all appeals to rights and this and that, not so much anymore. Now, the question is, you have to let it get that bad. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully this kind of maneuver is Trump and co signaling that we're not going to let it get any worse than it already is. We're going to start to do the hard things now. And the hard things are not going to be popular with everybody, obviously. They won't be even popular with people on the right. Because you're going to have to generate that will within people to see it done. As Charles Padilla said, women are going to turn to their men and say, fix it. I don't care how. I don't care what you got to do, but you don't come home until you fix it. So go fix it. This is kind of a feeling of a fix-it moment.
It's the owner. The reason why businesses do these practices that are consumer unfriendly is because they think that they're safe. How to make them stop doing the practices? Take away the safety. It's that simple. Again, everything is about incentives.
Adam Price says small-time construction companies won't exist in California without cheap immigrant wages, just a rotten system all through. Then they don't deserve to exist. Right? And it's predatory, both because it allows this bad element to come in, obviously. So everything that even if we're saying that everyone who works, all the immigrants who work for these small construction companies are magical people and, living the American dream and good, honest people and all that stuff. We'll give them all those things, okay? Grant them all. But the same porous system that allows them to come in to basically be the workforce for these construction companies also allows all the bad people in, who are not them, but these other people get in too. And that's the problem. It's also the problem is that what you're also saying to let's just say, the people of California is the rules don't really matter. The rules are negotiable. The rules are what we tell you it is. That is a narco tyranny. Because if the rules aren't being obeyed, if there is no order, it's anarchy, And it's tyranny because the state is now still the arbiter of which rules get applied to whom at any given time. And can switch whenever they need to. Now, can you have trust? Can you have a sense of mind? Can you build anything? No. You can't really build things that are long-lasting, that are purposeful, that are big, beautiful, the good, the beautiful, the true. Can't maintain and build and maintain civilization when you're here, when you're in primal frame mode. And you don't know if next week is going to look like last week, or going to be worse, or something completely different. So that's the unsettling part, and that's how they're ruling things, and that seemed to be the old plan. Keep everyone off guard, crawling into small little systems, and every so often, if we need to, we can just set you off, make you fight each other. And when you fight each other, then we have to respond. Oh, well, we don't really want to have to do all these things, but unfortunately, we must have to. It's a very British-style system, by the way.
So someone with a warrant could have used the CBP app to self-deport, get a free ride home, and receive $1,000. But instead, they'll send a couple of their friends home with them. But when the local news outlets report on it, the outrage only seemed to face ICE. As they called it, people in military tactical gear, playing like they're in Afghanistan, just...
And of course, these activists posing as reporters are doing this because the ICE agents have uniforms. So you can identify them. Look, there they are. There's your bad guy. There's your scapegoat. Look, you can see them right there. They got vans and everything. So if you're going to get real serious, you go to San Diego here, or whoever's reporting on this, and you put them in jail too for inciting riots. See? This is how widespread it has become. Based world isn't just throwing some tear gas into a crowd. Based world means you're going after all these people and everyone connected to them. And you're going to do something brutalist, let's say. Doesn't have to be the violence, doesn't have to be physical, but it does have to be violent. And as you produce these things, there's your spirit of the vengeful son, and people are going to cheer it on because it's going to feel good. And in these instances, it might even be the most logical thing you got to do now. The problem is that once you substantiate a pattern, it continues long after the situation has been resolved. You create violence in the hearts of men, they tend to go, well, that felt good. What else can we do? Again.
Throwing with people on a nice Friday, although they did indeed detain 2 of the workers, and the restaurant couldn't open for dinner after. So maybe there was a reason they went after that specific restaurant, but they conveniently made that the smallest part of their report. So now more of these fools are contributing to the problem.
Just listened to the ICE raid.
You're a business owner. Do you really want business owners to be personally liable for anything their business does? Well, that's literally what I just said. Yeah, what do you mean? Would I, yes, obviously. Because I think that they're ignoring it on purpose. I think that they know that these people, here's the question. Do you think...
Tiffany Angel says, although my husband has worn cargo shorts a couple times, his mindset on the subject is pretty much identical to yours, Jason. Well, God bless him. We'll overlook the cargo shorts thing. What we'll say is sins of the past. We don't live in the past. We're present and future-minded people here on the Mironchucknow and the goat streams.
That the people that are running these companies and running these restaurants know that the people they're employing are illegal. I think the answer to that is yes. How do you prove intent? Well, with an investigation. You investigate their correspondence. You look at whether they were doing due diligence to make sure that these people were actually American citizens. You see if they had any communication with this person that would indicate that they knew that they were an illegal alien. And then after you do that, you find out whether they're guilty or not. And then if they are, you put them in jail. It's really simple. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's yeah, what do you mean?
San Diego. Mexico at the Italian restaurant, where they took the manager and the workers.
Check their paychecks?
And the people stepped up and surrounded ICE, which was great because they did not show a warrant to anybody.
General Manager Renato Amatrano says agents provided a warrant and scanned everyone's IDs.
Got me thinking, we need to start carrying wire cutters, wire cutters in our pocket.
Think of the mentality. This is something I love that Yarvin brought up, especially during Trump's first run. Is you get all these people thinking they're part of a freedom fighting group. They think they're the part of the French Resistance. You know, they're the Rebel Alliance. You're going to carry around wire cutters in your pants to help out these people, to liberate people from ICE arrest. Are you out of your mind, old man? Here's a man who has no idea what violence is. Here's a man, as I was saying before, and again, I'm not promoting anything, right? But here's a man who, if he even was next to, like literally standing next to an act of very definitive violence, he wouldn't know what to do. He would shit himself. Quite literally. Because this guy is just talking stuff like it's movie talk. We're going to get in there. We're going to liberate them. We're going to cut the bonds off them, and we'll set them free. This isn't like a seagull who's got their head caught in a 6-pack container, motherfucker. What are you talking about? Some of these people who you're liberating are these magical Mexicans, right? The magic Mexicans, the good ones, and they're great, fine, good. Some of the people you might be releasing are the bad ones, though, too. Do you have any discernment to be able to tell the difference? No, it's just because ICE is bad, and so anything that ICE is doing, we have to act against. Go back to golf. Go, I don't know I don't know what this man does. Go jog. Take up jogging. That's what you should be doing. What are you, silly person? This is also the kind of guy who gets shot by a rubber bullet and be very surprised, shocked that it could have possibly happened to him. It's like, again, don't go where the rubber bullets are, idiot.
Take up much room? Yeah, you could use them for zip ties, but you can also use them for valve stems on vehicle tires.
That's crazy that you have, again, another fucking boomer that's actively insinuating that you should cut off the valves and the tires of government vehicles. That's nuts. So causing an accident? Yeah. And this is the problem, is that people like this are so cavalier and they feel so safe being able to say stuff like this and promote this type of violent behavior. And this is why things are getting worse.
It's actually acts of terrorism. I almost think this is also why they're almost all pro-Israel, anti-Hamas. Because they don't see themselves as terrorists. But what you're saying is these are and the crazy thing is you're doing this on camera with your face on there. Presumably probably with his name. It's probably like Bill Phillips. Bill Phillips says, hey, you know, just vandalize federal employee cars. It's your duty. What are you talking about? Were you at Woodstock? Like, how much brown acid did you do, kid? Do not do this. And not even just because of the whatever reasons. It's like, don't be promoting people to put themselves in harm's way for this. If you have a legal system, right? So fight in the courts. Go ahead. You have money, right? He's got at least what? 1, 2 houses? Sell one. Give them to people. Do something, you know, legal and logical. Don't encourage people to go vigilante in essentially a war zone. And, you know, mess with the Fed.
The reason why things are getting worse is because people won't call this out for what it is and hold these people accountable. And because of that, things escalate and they get worse as a result. Like, you could have stopped this from being a problem years ago, but you didn't do that because you were afraid of the pushback. And now it's become an even bigger problem, and there's going to be even more pushback. Cash Patel and Dan Boingo need to go after these people? Yeah. They feel emboldened because the media protects them? Well, the media is not the government.
Yeah, these are the guys who need to be publicly arrested, detained, questioned, detained for questioning for an awfully long time, and let everybody know that that's happening. Make a big thing of it, because that doesn't. These guys wouldn't even know what to do about that. They've never even contemplated that. They might have thought about, well, I'll be willing to go to jail for my convictions. Would you really? Would you really? Would you really do it if you thought you're facing real deal federal incarceration times? Would you really? Okay, Dale. No.
Media can't do shit.
I really believe he thinks he's some sort of crafty freedom fighter, but I'm pretty certain he just committed a felony. As hyper-left Reddit also went in on the situation, writing long mod posts complaining about how many resources...
Jay Foot just tipped $24.36. $25. Appreciate you, Jay Forte. Everyone, hey, let's pause for the grift. Send me some money, folks. What have you got hanging around? Freedom dollars is especially great. I accept all currencies, but if you're in America, 5, 10, 15, $20, whatever you got hanging around in your account, just weighing you down a little bit, you know. You're like, what can I do with it? Buy a new golf club. No, send it to me, please. I can make good use of it. You know, I will give it to my wife. it's kind of how it goes, but it's good that way, because then I get to continue doing this for you fine people. And so, yeah, please do that. And if you can't, please like, subscribe, and share, and let people know where to find us. Got 71 watching on YouTube. Oh, my goodness. Let's get that up to 100, folks. And then 200. And then 300. And then 4, 5. Who knows? I think with that $25, we're actually over the $300 mark. Coming too close to that goal. I'd like to hit 500 in the next few days. So let's make that happen. Any way you want to, which way you can. Send me some cash, and I appreciate you. The Kipling poem is if it's the same Kipling poem, I think the Anglo-Saxon is a damn good poem.
Voices went into this saying, if it can happen to us, it can happen to you again.
That's right, guys.
It can happen to us. It can happen to you.
Guys, if somebody gets arrested for committing a crime, we shouldn't let that happen, because you too could also get arrested even though you're not committing a crime.
That remittance thing is crazy. I see people talking about remittances in the chat. Part of the big, beautiful bill, whatever they call it, what is the acronym now? I keep seeing adding to it. It's almost LGBT plus, but it's the bill. I covered this yesterday in the Rice Crisis episode. Is that Trump's also wants to pass smuggling in the bill? They call it a remittance tax of 3% on all remittances coming out of the United States to foreign countries. India gets I forget the exact number, $119 billion or worldwide, from not just America, but other places where Indians are. I guess between Britain and America, it's a lion's share, but most of it comes from America. So India basically receives, one way or another, more money than its trade deficit, than foreign aid. By sending, you want to know why you get all these Indians showing up everywhere? It's like they're being shipped out. Like, please go, send money back. Bloody. Yeah. It's a good grift. You got to give it to them. You know, I'm not very kind to the East Indians. It's more because of the Hindu thing, right? You drop a Hindu thing, take a shower, I'm fine. You know, figure out food. There's a few prerequisites there. Stop having rat temples. Get that sorted out. But other than a few of the obvious things, I don't have a problem with them as human beings in the world, per se, if they can figure out toilets. But I will give them some credit. Man, they can grift. I've known a lot of very grifty black people in my time, over course of my life. I've been friends with quite a few of them, and they hold nothing, man. Some of those Trinity guys, actually, all the big grifting guys I knew who were black were also Trinidadian. A lot of East Indians blood, and it must be that. See, something in the blood, something in the blood. Moldy Apple says, I kind of want a Beijing beef burrito. Ooh, that kind of sounds good. Kind of sounds good, that one. I just fold anything in bread. I'm your friend.
What a retarded logic. That's so stupid. As a liberal, these things make me sick. These people are deranged. They do not represent my values as liberal. Then push back against it more. Because the problem is that this is defining their entire platform.
More fear-mongering, trying to rally their base into action, as there were plenty of posts thanking the people blocking the cops. But then an awful lot of body shaming.
Okay, you guys watch this for a sec. I'll be right back. I got old man bladder. What can I tell you?
Talking about
Look
them
at all
being
the fat gravy seals, so brave with their masks.
The gravy seals, which is rich, coming from Reddit, as they're likely singling out this specific copper, who is admittedly large, but more of a...
I feel like that's a pretty big, like, I wouldn't fuck with that guy. I'm going to be honest, like, I would not fuck with that guy. That's a big guy. Yeah, I mean, that's not, like, like, yeah, this is a linebacker. Like, this is not, I don't know, man.
A lineman build than anything.
Yeah.
As if I was assembling a squad, I'd take him over...
mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, like, yes, of course, obviously, the furries and femboys on Reddit don't understand that. But yes, there are guys that are heavier, but they're in shape.
Any of these idiots screeching with their phones out. Just because the police show restraint doesn't mean they're afraid.
Yeah, he's the tank.
But now they're pounding on their chests as if they actually accomplish anything other than increasing the amount of police resources that will be spent on the next raid. As all across the country, work sites like the one in Florida are being raided as well.
Yep.
With the local Florida outlets doing montages of...
It's also good timing for this, weirdly enough. We've received reports out of the U.S. that there are now more sellers than buyers in the United States. This is, I think, getting ahead of what we're seeing with the bond market fluctuations, especially in the 10-year bond yields. That's going to dramatically affect mortgage rates, especially if you have any kind of flexible 30-year mortgage kind of schemes. So a lot of people are going to have a really hard time maintaining the houses they have, let alone selling them off. A lot of people buying them are, realizing that I think there's enough pressure finally within the market where people have just said, I can't afford it, so therefore I'm not going to even try to buy it. And that's going to be, we'll see what that does to the housing bubble itself. But, well, look, most of these people are being brought over to do construction, building, maintaining houses and other kind of things like that, right? Well, there's going to be a big, massive cool down in that market. You kind of don't need those people right now, do you? Not so needed anymore. We're not building anything, so why do we need builders? Come back when we're building something. Phil says, basically, I have nothing in common with Indians. Can't really say anything except, thank you, sir, and have a good day, sir. Yeah. It's just a cultural thing. This is I'm a culturalist, that if you're going to let people in, there's got to be some way to bring people to some sort of culturation process. And I would say that would have to start even before they arrive here. Now, refugees or some of that might be a different case, but it's a temporary kind of situation. But anyone who's coming over long term, like I said, you got to be a citizen. And citizens comes with duties and responsibilities, comes with a mindset, comes with a phronema, comes with a sense of being in the world, and especially in this place, that you're contributing not just in the here and now by paying taxes and all that kind of stuff, but by actually raising your children up to believe in and to fight for the concept of the country. If you don't have that, if you're not instilling that into people, then they're just cogs, and it turns you into a cog as well. You're just someone who generates income. You're a monetary value. which, again, remember, if you remember from before, merchants are in charge and have been for quite a long time. Well, golly gee, they would devise a system that advantages them, and they like to think of people as monetary units. That's all you are. You're here for, you're just a clump of cells. We evolved to basically pay taxes and produce things and purchase things, produce and consume. That's your function. Don't worry, we'll take care of everything else. Just you produce and consume. Produce and consume. And don't ask questions and don't have any complaints. Don't be that squeaky cog. If you're a good cog, you get more oil. You might even get promoted. Become a bigger cog. Look at that. But you'll always be a cog. Don't ever start thinking like a citizen. You can dream to be a citizen. You can pretend you're a citizen. You're not really a citizen. This is why you can bring in all these people from all over the place and just say, yeah, sure, here. Nationality, what? Duties, responsibilities. Hey, those are metaphysics concepts. No. We're strict materialists around here, folks. Heck, we're not even really human anyways. We're part of evolution. We're just humans for now. Eventually, we'll evolve into something that isn't human. And isn't that good? Either through natural processes or through some force stuff. I'm building a file. I'm going to start talking about some of the genetic stuff they're trying to push now. Take your kids, give them new eye colors and stuff. Yeah, I got a file on that.
Woman crying.
Correa could not hold.
Culture is downstream from race. See, I understand why people say that, and I'm not going to argue it. The fact is that, especially if you live in America or North America, you're going to have a multicultural society, I think, for quite a long time, in one way, shape, or form. I don't believe there's any real big will in America for getting rid of all the people who are not white. Let's put it that way. I don't think that exists. Outside of maybe some certain groups and people like to say things online. Other than that, I don't think the will really exists to get that done, so I don't spend much time with it. The real question is, can we generate and maintain a true culture, whether it be in Australia or New Zealand or America or Canada, that is distinct, good, beautiful, and true, that is fostering a sense of civilization? Can we do that? You start there and then see what else happens after that. Yeah, Molly says any race can bend to the knee to Christ. Exactly. Now, does that mean that things should be intermixed the way they are? I'm not even defending that. But things are mixed. That is the situation. Wishing it weren't so doesn't change anything. And again, I don't believe there's actual real will to make it not so in any substantial way. So then what are you left with?
I am so glad that we are past the point of giving a fuck about some woman crying about some shit. Wow, I'm so sad that my illegal alien husband is being deported after being here, probably committing identity theft and other forms of fraud, and illegally entering the country. Wow, what a fucking shame. This is such a tragedy. Too bad.
Back her pain. She screams injustice after her husband was placed on an expedited deportation order.
And of course, this is how the media responds. We knew that was going to come too, right? The crying women. Always the crying woman. Do you get a kid? Get a crying kid? No? Oh, we got a hysterical woman. Oh, put her in there. Oh, okay, there we go. Just as good. Maybe even better. People are going to point out hypocrisy, maybe, right? The left's now going the emotional route. The emotional route is the whole entire thing. They want you to get emotionally involved. Either you're going to feel for this woman or you're going to react like you're going to react. Bye, Iceman. Appreciate you, man. Raisin says, how long she's been here and she can't speak English. She might be speaking fluent English, but for the cameras, no habla español. A woman is crying. You must listen. My goodness. Woman is crying. Everyone, stop everything. Woman's crying. She's very upset. The thing is to get you there. The dialectic being set up is for or against. it doesn't really matter as long as you're maintaining frame. The frame is, this is good, bad. Good, bad. Not just even necessary. There is no third option. There is no way to break out of that dialectic. The dialectic is keep you there. Keeping the conflict. Because once you get your conflict, now we have your attention. And once we have your attention, that's all we really want, because that's what the media really trades in. Now we can direct you. Look over here, look over there, look over this. It's a shell game. So, quite often, and this is very, very difficult, the more you look at these things. But I try to practice this all the time, is that the best way to analyze data is to become indifferent to the data. And just look at it as it is and see where it goes. Now, I'm doing a show, I'm going to be all this other stuff, sure, right? But, sometimes it gets to you, man, and you got to step away. But my standard rule is this. If I'm researching anything or watching this stuff and I start getting upset, I walk away. Because that's what they want. They want you to get upset. They want you to have a reaction. They want your fifis to get involved. Because then you stop thinking. Happens to all of us. It's just part of being human. It's a feature, not a bug. So, that's what I would say, is that start feeling like, walk away from it. Clear your head. Go touch grass. Have a smoke. Whatever you need to do. Someone's saying that someone made the argument that Christianity only sticks with... No, that's not true.
After showing up to his immigration check-in in Miami. Immigration court attorney Antonio Ramos tells us this is now the new normal.
What I've been seeing is, out of the few people, most of them, they have crimes, previous crimes.
Where this man's wife also got...
How is it that somebody gets charged, they're found out to be an illegal alien?
Jay Forte says, pagans are ridiculous. This is true. I pissed off a pagan. I made a statement on Matt's show over on Kingpilled on Thursday, and one of the responses is like, "Why does Jason have this irrational hatred for pagans?" I'm like, "It's not irrational. It's not irrational at all. You guys think you're druids? What? Yeah, I'm irrational. I'm the crazy one. Woo. Look, you're gay for Chris Hemsworth. I get it. You really like the Thor movie a little bit too much, and where you're wearing shorts. Okay, see, this is your problem. Shorts are getting in your head, and it's messing up your mind. Just put some pants on, go to church, realize that this is the tradition that built your whole country. That you, my friend, no matter what tradition you are, you go, I'm Norse. Oh, cool. Well, you've been Christian for at least 600 years. Yeah. Your forefathers did it for a reason. Maybe just trust in them. Since you're all into history and respecting my elders, well, why don't you respect the elders who took the knee to Christianity? Just trust that they did it for a good reason. And move on with your life. It's okay.
And they don't just get immediately deported the moment that they get in the cop station. Like, I don't understand. How does this happen? This is the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
Detained, which is an incredibly sad scene.
Someone's saying Tomb of Aremia says non-whites don't want to assimilate, they want prosperity and success. Well, they still can get away with it. Here's the thing. I'll speak personally as an immigrant in a foreign country. I don't want to assimilate. I have no interest in assimilating. I don't really want to be Australian, in that sense. But I also do the diligence where I don't talk about Australian politics really at all. Occasionally something gets to such a degree that I have to say something or make a mention because I have to, and I make fun of Australians. No offense, Don. A few with notable exceptions, but by and large, I don't concern myself with Australia because I'm not Australian. I live here. I pay taxes. I do all that stuff. My wife's Australian. My child is Australian. And I've vested interest in the country. I certainly wouldn't do anything to damage it. I'm not acting against it or anything like that. But but I also do the respectful thing, which is I don't really think about it. It's not it's literally not my country. And even if I get membership here, citizenship, I'll be like, yeah, okay, I got the passport and all that stuff, and I have to vote in stupid elections, and sure. But I'm not really Australian, am I? I could live here for another... I was living in Canada for, 43 years. So if the Lord gives me, and I've been here now, 4 years going on. Be 4 years in July. So if the Lord gives me, I don't know, another 40 years on this planet, and I live them all here in Australia, I would technically at least be 1 year ahead than my Canadian life. Make the statement that I'm lived in Australia longer than at that point. I still wouldn't consider myself Australian. But that doesn't mean that I have to. To your point, I think there's no one. I don't think people really want to assimilate. Some people do, but most people don't. They should be basically forced to, or incentivized to, or at the very least, stay out of it. Realize that you're just a visitor here. You don't really belong here. And it might take your kids a few generations, and won't be just your kids born here who are then automatically Australian. No, it'd be like probably down the road, a few generations in. Maybe then, maybe. But this again can only be defined, and you can't define it in a materialistic world who's gotten rid of these concepts of duty and responsibilities. They've assumed them for so long that everyone kind of gets, the social contract was duties and responsibilities, but it was never really well defined. And you've let other ideas and you've liberated yourselves from those duties and responsibilities to the point where it's just like, you're here. Oh, you're here? Okay, then you are. Oh, you're here and we gave you this piece of paper? Then you are this thing. You're as much as this thing as this other person who has family dating back here for 500 years. That's the insanity. There has to be duties and responsibilities placed on these categories, both for the people who are born here and who've been here for 500 years or whatever, and for the people who are coming in here who are given the magic piece of paper who says that, well, this magic piece of paper allows you to have access to certain things and maybe can begin the process of becoming this thing. But in fact, I would say that if you really want to become this thing, you're actually going to have even more duties and responsibilities put on you. Or at least a big timeline, generational timeline, before we accept you as one of us, truly. You can be here. We're not going to abuse you. Obey the laws, do the thing, pay your taxes. You're all good. All good, mate. But if we had to get rid of somebody, suddenly the place got too filled. We got to get rid of somebody. We're looking around. Who we get? Who we do? What do we do? What do we do? Who? What do I do? What do I do? What is it? You people. All of you people. Maybe you get to go. I'm sorry, come back next time when we have more room. Just saying. Boss Grand, $2. Check your PayPal. Okay. Check my PayPal.
Yep. But kinda deranged how Twitter users shoved the camera in the husband's face, with Reddit highlighting how the kid was crying. They really think if we see something sad enough, the country's just gonna forget it has law.
Guys, if don't you see this photo of this kid crying? We can't have laws anymore. They're gonna make this kid cry. Yeah, we can't have borders. Look at this sad family. It's emotional manipulation. Yeah, it is. It's blatant emotional manipulation that's done to.
Oh, thank you, man. Is that from Boss Grand? Thank you, brother. Someone just gave me a whole bunch of AUD, and I assume that's from Boss Grand. I'll shout it out. $147. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. We'll put that on the board. Well, I take all the PayPal money and put it on the board later on. I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Wow. Okay. Put a note next time, too. Do you want me to do a dance? I feel like I owe you something now. No note on there? Oh, thanks, man. Well, with contributions like this, I get to do this full time, so I appreciate it.
Cater to the lowest common denominator of the mentally I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. The mentally incapable. It's bad emotional manipulation? Yeah. It's just more emotional blackmail. Yep. Do not care.
But after the Maryland man fiasco turned out to be a dangerous gang member,
I want to know if I can do this with my voice. Like, after this dangerous gang member, I think if I try to get even into that range, I'm gonna blow something. I see. I'm too deep. I'm deep and gravelly. I can't get really raspy. It's a limitation of my vocal range.
the general public doesn't know what to believe anymore, and the montages of crying families just feels manipulative. As this is the same exact ploy they tried to use back in 2019.
See, it wouldn't work the other way, though, right? Because if I started doing this thing and started to sound like a Chinese person, I get my stuff shut down. Especially here in Australia.
When they cried outside empty cages in a white suit, but said absolutely nothing about the hundreds of thousands of missing kids during the Biden administration, where even when the reporting tried to downplay the story, they admitted the missing kids are at risk. They just can't suggest that all the missing kids are in danger. So good
Not all of them are in danger. Only some of them.
No, they have a certain percentage of acceptable losses that only exists when Trump isn't in office. But now that he is, once he tries to fix it, places like New York City will also try to block ICE.
New York City.
You will be placed under arrest and charged with...
See, what did I say earlier in the show? What's happening in LA is not going to stay in LA. It's going to spread, especially in places where there's already, mostly paid protesters activated in certain cells. They're going to get reactivated real nice and easy, because there's going to be people who, even if it doesn't do anything, if it makes Trump look bad, they win. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that. We know there was tons of those cells that were operating during 2020 that bragged about it afterwards that caused Trump hit their election. So we're going to see a lot of this stuff pick up, especially in places like New York, a lot of the blue states, any big blue state, Chicago, I'm sure is going to kick off as well. Interesting though, this is kind of taking the thunder out of gay pride though, isn't it? I'm kind of okay with it, because are we even talking about pride anymore? Is this even a thing that's even happening? Troons, who, what, whatever. Don't even think about it. Yeah. It's white boy summer because of riots. White boy summer because of brown boy riots. I'm kind of here for it.
Disorderly conduct. This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully in the roadway. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest.
There we go. All right. This is what you love to see. Okay, yep, just arrest them and get rid of them.
Moldy says deracination is inevitable in a shrinking world. The point is to maintain the superior ideals, which are objectively Christian. I absolutely agree. The other thing, too, I mean, when we get started, we now have supersonic missiles, and we're going to get supersonic jets and all that stuff. That's going to get revealed very soon. When those things become more and more common, it's going to start off in the military as it always does, and then become commercial. So in my daughter's age life is, if not mine, they're going to have the capability of going from Perth to New York probably in maybe 5-6 hours. If you think things are very different now, that'll radically change things. Radically. Now, it would be important to make sure you start getting in checks and balances, and I think this is where digital ID and all these other things start coming in, to maintain who gets in and how and what they're doing and all these kind of things. That's just going to come, right? Take it off your mind. It's just something that's happening. You get to decide how you're going to interact with it as it gets unveiled, but that's down the road, okay? The thing that we can definitely say is that once we start getting into supersonic transports, well, shoot, son. You try to keeping an ethno state at that point, unless you want to spend all your resources and tons of capital into maintaining it. This is why Israel was never going to work, by the way. Can't work. Can't. To create and maintain a security state requires so much capital that's going out just to maintain the security apparatus that you can't do anything else with it. I've seen only videos. I've never been there, obviously, because why would I go? But I can get bagels here, whatever. Eggs and tomato sauce. Got it. Good. No problem. But apparently I've seen videos of this, and like Tel Aviv, the big thing, the beautiful thing. Apparently it looks like shit. It looks like a bunch of developing worlders built it. I'm just saying. So, if he's into a bigger thing, I'm careful when I say. But there's your thing, right? Let's give them a benefit of the doubt. Even if they could make it better, they can't, because all the money isn't going back and investing into the civilization. It's going out to make sure that you maintain this ethno-state thing. Costs a lot of money to do that. It's expensive. Difficult, baby. So, Israel as it is could never work. On a long enough time frame, they'd have to take over everything, and they don't have big enough population to do that. So unless they start going, Ethiopians are Jews. What do you know about that? We just figured it out. No problem. Maury, sure, shut up. They can't be rabbis. Don't worry about it. Unless you start doing that. Mexicans, Jews, all of a sudden, they're the 14th tribe. Look at them. I've always liked a little bit of a burrito. It gives me gas, though. Can you make the burrito a little less gassy? A little less gassy. A little easy with the beans, please. What is this? What is in the brown sauce? Can you make me the bean burrito, but can you put the sauce on the side, please? The sauce. I mean, the thing that it's swimming in. I think that's the beans, Maury. But can you put them on the side? And you put the lettuce on the side too. I don't even trust lettuce. I even know why do we even do lettuce? What is it? It's green water. It's like eating water. Why do we do this? Like something crunchy. Have some celery. It's more nourishing.
We need bigger prisons. I think so.
On the charge of disorderly conduct.
And in Boston,
I feel like a lot of these people are unemployed anyway, so if we put them in jail and then gave them a job to do in jail that they had to do, like, wouldn't this kind of solve two problems, right? I mean, number one, you wouldn't have to deal with them. Number two, they get work experience. I feel like this is a win-win situation. Yeah, this is really good.
People are bragging about stopping them on social media.
Remember, are you trying to bring back slavery? No. This isn't slavery.
It's just speaks to it too, right? Like, this is how brazen you have to be. Here in Australia, I make the jokes about the Jews. I love the Jews. Australia, love. I'm verklempt with the love I have. That's why I speak the Yiddish. I've acquired the Yiddish. It's not appropriation. It's out of respect. It's an homage. It's an homage to the Yiddish. Ashkenazi, who? Please. Ashkenazi, who? I love them. I get kibitz with them all the day. I got to be careful with everything I say. Because any one little thing, and I get a knock on the door. And it's easy because I really don't have hate in my heart. I have concerns. I have criticisms. I've noticed some things. But I would never say anything vile, like you should go do acts of violence against ICE agents. These are your country people. They're hired to do a job, man. You don't agree with the job? Great. Fight it in court. Don't elect a puddinhead, a 90-year-old next time, and then have his running mate be like the worst drunk wine ant ever in creation. Don't do that next time. How about that? Try that out. See how that goes.
You are the major power in your community. If you show up with people you trust quickly, you can protect kids, you can protect families. So
You can protect kids and you can protect families by stabbing people. Hey! Hey! What about the kids and the families of the people you're stabbing? Ah, they don't count. They're evil too. Schmucks. Ha! Puh. Ha! They don't even... They're just clumps of cells, those people. That's an interesting thing I would always want to ask these people, because I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to assume safely that he's probably pro-abortion and very big into evolution. Just going to throw that out there. So take a dart on the board. Who knows, right? In Minecraft, let's assume. So if he does come from that perspective, that is his worldview, then I'd have to ask the question, well, if everyone's just a clump of cells, right? We're just evolved from a petri dish of like one cell organism. We're just temporarily humans anyways, and then check back on us in a few thousand years, and we won't even be occupying this form anymore. We have no purpose. We have no meaning. We're a colossal celestial accident. We're just stardust, et cetera, et cetera. Why do you care then about anything? Why do you care about the treatment of other people other than yourself? They're just clump of cells who are occupying space by accident. It's regrettable, I guess, but, you know, things happen, bad things happen, survival of the fittest, nature goes, nature comes, nature goes, can't control that. You know, tide goes in, tide goes out, who can't even explain that? Just forget about it. Oh, but you do want to care, because you believe you want to be a good person. Well, that's a metaphysical claim. You don't believe in metaphysics, do you? You can't. And even if you think metaphysics is just a product of brain chemistry, so you just want to be the better brain chemistry for reasons. Why? Just trust in the brain chemistry, bro. Dan Steely says, MAGA is a tumor. Tumor is not a tumor. Not a tumor. Am I justifying being a douchebag? I don't know, bud. Probably in some way. We're attracting the interesting people now. What else is going on in the chat? Catch me up, folks. It could be a tumor. No, it's not a tumor.
form information networks, know where ICE is in your community, and show up. They will just leave. They are not brave enough to steal kids when an entire community comes around to protect them.
Not even aware who they are protecting.
ICE says they were surveilling a murderer's home in their car when a crowd surrounded their vehicle, blew their cover, and they had to pull off the target. Again, a murderer.
Wow. This is when...
None of this will ever change until the people that are making the calls to find out and surround the car aren't being put in jail. And I hope the government knows this. You are doing literally nothing. Because you're not solving the disease, you're only treating the symptoms. You need to cure the disease. And the disease is that these people think that they can do this and get away with it. That's it. Give them accessory to murder? Yeah. Yeah, just give them something insane.
Okay, so we got Dan Steely's having one in the chat. FDA, FM, AGA, FF fascists. Okay, so what's wrong with being an FF fascist? From your worldview, Dan, what's wrong with that? Oh, wait. I'm not defending it, by the way. I'm just asking out of curiosity. From your worldview, what's wrong with it? FDT Einstein. That doesn't answer anything, man. If you want to jump on the stream, I'll give you a link. You can jump on, man. You can explain your worldview to me. Explain how you're right and I'm wrong. Or how I'm douchebag something. Or you're just having one. Do you want a link? Does everyone want me to give them a link? You can come on, Dan. You can have a talk. Is that where we're at? Does someone need to have it chat it out? You can chat it out with you, buddy. Here we go. So I don't know if we can do it here. Hang on. Let's do it here. We'll find it. Talk amongst yourselves. Here, I'll put this on. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll get
And
that
then it would
over.
immediately stop. Prison space that fits regulations is at an all-time low. Then change the regulations. Seems pretty simple to me.
Identity politics gets dangerous. Assuming police are always bad and their targets are always good is something only criminals and people that blissfully think they'll never be victimized will believe. So where exactly are they getting this idiotic ideology? From their political leaders, like this Tennessee state representative.
This is great. We've got our girl squad.
There you go, bud. There you go, Danny. Yeah, I'm a real pro. Absolutely. You know, why don't you come on the stream? Show me how it's done, bud.
We're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
There are two groups of people in the world that cause all of our problems.
Link's right up there, Dan. Go ahead. Show us how it's done, buddy. Man up. You can bash the fash right here. Just jump on the stream. Come on. Why don't I lose 30 pounds? I would love to, Dan. But why don't you show me how it's done, buddy? Jump on the stream. We'll have a talk. But shout it out.
Every single time. It's actually impressive.
Your favorite blonde state rep. So
Is that how you stay so thin, Dan? Is because you're a fucking bitch? Why don't you just jump on the stream? We'll have a chat. In front of all the nice people. We got, 60 people? We got 67 people watching on YouTube, at least. Over 200 people watching over on Twitter. You can become a star, my friend. That's a lot of people who are just going to dying to hear what you have to say. Come on, bud.
they're probably running our information.
But even Congress people in New Jersey are doing the same.
I'm not angry.
Where apparently she even
I am pudgy, though. I'm missing a tooth as well.
shoved an eye.
But you know what I do have, though? I got a full head of hair. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Beautiful. Long, full, thick head of hair. How much you want to bet that Dan's wearing shorts and has got a bald spot the size of a fist right up there? Oh, so you're just bitching out then? I'm not angry, buddy. You can't make me angry. I don't care about you. You don't count. But if you want to come on the stream, give the people nice little content, some little entertainment. Look, everyone's calling for you, Dan. They'd love to see you on here. Come on, bash the fash. Come on, buddy. You could do it. We believe in you.
Nice officer, but now
Bro, this was a fucking insane crash out and assaulting law enforcement. Yes, finally getting charged.
Dan, do it, bud. Come on. The link's right up there. Let's scroll up. You can find it again. I can repost it if you want.
Thank God. Yeah, prisons are private. Build one.
Oh, Danny boy. They're all calling for you, Danny. Come on, bud. You can jump right on. Don't have to show your face, anything like that. Just jump on. You're so smart. I'm so pudgy and dumb. Trounce me, buddy. Come on. Do it.
What?
My breath stinks. It's horrible. I'm a smoker. I smoke a lot. So I stink. I stink. I'm fat. I'm old. Got a full head of hair, though.
Wait, you're right. That's a good idea.
I get thousands of people who watch my stuff every week. Dude, you could do so much better than me, Dan. Show us. Show us how it's done. Jump on here. You can just show us. Show us how to host a show, Dan.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, so we could call it Roach Ranch.
I have a wife and a kid.
Oh, shit.
Now is being charged
And I own my house.
for assault. And even Congressman Nadler's staffer was seen being arrested.
Danny! Come on, buddy. Don't just call people subhumans on the chat. Come on.
for allegedly harboring someone. So I really wonder how long they'll gleefully display their defiance when their friends all start getting jail sentences. As it sounds scary that this administration would start throwing politicians in prison, but they brought it up
It's
on...
not scary. It's justified.
You can't make me mad. You can't make me angry, Dan. You don't matter to me. You don't count. You're just some spurg on the internet in my chat, and you won't. And your chicken shit won't come on the stream. So now we just get to make fun of you in the chat. You can come on the stream. I can make fun of you on the stream. Provide content for all the nice people. But you can't make me mad. There's nothing. There's literally nothing you could ever do or say that could ever upset me, Dan. That's how meaningless you are to me. But that all being said, we do want you on the stream, Dan. Come on, press the link. Come on in.
If you break the law and you do something wrong and you're tried and convicted for it, then you should go to jail. It's that simple. It's wanted.
Pools are for gay people.
Even, and I think this is a universal perspective. There's a lot of Democrats that felt that was unfair for Trump because they thought Trump should have gotten in more trouble for things that he did. And I think that there's a lot of Republicans and conservatives that feel like Democrats should have gotten in trouble for things that they did too, like for Hunter Biden, for example. And so this is something that everybody wants. I don't know why it doesn't happen. In all seriousness, do you really think that they should bring back prison labor? Yeah. Yeah, I do. If you can, I'm a big advocate for this. I think it's a great idea.
RK, I'll open it up to everyone else. I'll open up to call-ins in a little bit. Let's see if we can get Dan on, though.
So if you're putting these people in jail, why wouldn't you put them to work? Why not? If you can't, like, really, why? Like, I mean, do you see how problematic that is? Well, wait a minute. Let me read your message.
I'm not American, Dan. My healthcare's not going anywhere. Why is that a threat? Well, your healthcare's going to go away. Oh. Bitch stick Danny boy. Coward. My problem is it's cowards. It's just cowards that really bug me. Cowards and thieves. Just like the lowest of the low. I would respect a murderer more than I respect a thief or a coward. Assuming that you actually are a man, Dan. Cowardly behavior in men is just it's worse than a rapist. It really is. Because it leads to all the other things. See, that's the whole problem. It's because you're such a coward. You're unable to actually defend or promote or do anything well in society. So you're just a waste. It's like it's a shame because you don't have to be that way.
What about it's problematic? Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, because to me it seems like everybody wins. It seems like a perfect solution. Force them to make Apple iPhones? Oh, China not going to like that. Actually, I don't even think...
What are you going to do, Dan? Are you going to thumbs down the video? You're going to put a thumb down? Oh no.
I think they make those in China anymore.
Loser.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck they make them. Yeah, counter-argues that research El Salvador does it. Things are fine. No, I mean, there's a lot of ways I would look at it. But let me go back. I can find it. It incentivizes arrests. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think more people should be arrested for crimes. I mean, after you see all these people that are running wild and doing all kinds of crazy stuff that are in the public, yeah, that's the point. I think work programs are really good, but working at prison so they can make money is bad. Why? Why is it bad for the prison to make them work so they can pay for the prison? So you have to pay rent for your house. You have to pay a mortgage for your house. You have to pay rent for an apartment. You have to pay, like a nightly fee if you're staying at a hotel. Why is it like, where is this where it doesn't make sense? Uninformed, but that's what I've heard. Well, no, I'm just...
Some people are getting upgraded to moderator.
Well, that's
Moldy
goal,
Apple,
right? I mean, obviously,
Tiffany Angel,
because
Don
that's how
Browning.
you get arrested for a small-time crime and get jacked up sentences, so you make them more money. Well, you realize they're doing that already, right? And also, so the logic here is that if you can't make, these prisons already get money for prisoners to begin with. And also, I mean, should these people not be in jail? Like, obviously, yeah, there's...
There you go. We got moderators. People have been... I haven't done this in a while, actually. I should be doing this more often. So, we got some new moderators in the chat. Moderators, you got power. You got banning power. You can put people on timeouts and a whole bunch of stuff. Go ahead. Have fun.
It's going to be people like... So you're saying that people that are wrongfully convicted or unfairly convicted are going to have to do...
It's Sunday. Use a block function on Dan. I'll put it to the chat's vote. Who believes that we should put either block Dan or put him in a timeout? Put him in the sin bin for a bit. Let him chill out. Let him come back, and when he's willing to come on the stream, he can come on the stream and teach us all us nasty fascists a few things. Go ahead. Well, put it to the vote. Or if anyone wants, send me $5. $5. We put him in a timeout. $10. You gotta go, buddy. She timed him out already. Moldy already timed him out. Gonna make some money off that, Moldy. Come on, that's okay.
Something bad. There's people...
It's fine to play along with them. I was about to do it. I'm like, you know what? I should let people do it, because at a certain point, it just becomes... It's like it loses its appeal. You know, it just becomes not fun.
That are unfairly convicted right now in jail. This is already happening. Like, we're talking about hypotheticals. Yeah, how many people really is this happening with? Right? I mean, like, sure, yeah, maybe this will happen.
True story, funny story. So there's this guy called Salmon Fish. Probably a lot of you know who the hell Salmon Fish is. He's like the spurg of all spurgs. And so here on using Streamlabs, I have a multi-stream chat thing on the side, right? And it's because it gets me chats from everywhere. It even lets me see people who are banned. So Salmon Fish is banned, but I saw him in the chat one time. And he's just doing the Salmon Fish, right? But it's not showing up to anybody else. And I'm reading this going, wait, I thought I banned this mother. Oh, wait. Yeah, so that was fun. Playing with Salmon Fish is really good.
To a handful of people, definitely. I mean, there's always going to be collateral damage. Like, anytime that you have a rule or anytime you have a law or anything like that, you're always going to have collateral damage. Like, there's...
Yeah. People who... You pass laws for murder, right? So because you think it's got to be beneficial effect for the majority of society, which is good. But people who like to murder, oh, that's a bad day for them. You know, there's always going to be someone who doesn't get what they want, because that's how you have to manage society in some ways. And if you don't manage society at all, then you end up with LA, or you get these propositional laws. Temporary law, you know, maybe laws. Maybe you're in trouble today, maybe you're not, who knows? It's no way of living. Jim Bob's countdown to call in or get the boot is a good method. Yeah. I was thinking about that. I forgot how he moderated it. I got to be careful, because I watch so much Jim Bob now that I feel like I'm lifting too much from him. Like, I have the elevator music, right? So I kind of like, and I like it. I actually like it a lot, because I like his elevator music. It's the problem. It sounds a bit too much. The same. I'm like, fuck. Am I just becoming a dime store Jim Bob? A Ukrainian Jim Bob? That can't do that. So careful. You got to differentiate the shows. Get the bar set up. Tip your bartender. I was a barman for a very long time, so this feels a bit more homey. That's kind of what we do. We chat with the people. And RK, I will open it up for chats at some point here. I'm gonna have to end the stream and go get some food, but I'll be back. Was this? Is it Sunday for you guys? Sunday morning? I'll be back Sunday evening, and if you come back on Sunday evening around 9, 10, something like that, my plan is to be watching some Sam Hyde, and then when I do that, if you guys want to jump, I'll open it more for people jumping in. I'm going to figure out a better way of doing it so that people can jump in. And I'm not sharing out links on the streams and all that kind of stuff, because that becomes problematic. And also, collab cam on this thing isn't always so steady. So I'm going to figure that out tonight and then open it up for people. So, but come back Sunday evening and we'll have a time with that. I think Dan was a cheat. Yeah. I was waiting for like a SAR to come out. Like, ha! Well, now you have to get booed. That's it. Jay Foot says, I haven't heard about Jim Bob in quite a while. Cartoons were great years ago. Man, I've been watching lots of Jim Bob. I'm a big fan of Jim Bob. Had Jim Bob on the show back in January. There's an episode. You can go see that. And possibly Matthew and I might be sitting down with Jim Bob sometime in the future for our network. I might get an electric boogaloo. But we'll see how that goes. Got some interesting guests coming up with the Jim Jotters as well. I won't say who because it hasn't been confirmed yet, but this Tuesday, or this week anyways, with Jim Jotters might have a very interesting guest on and some more interesting guests coming up in the weeks later. So stay tuned. It's good times. Check out the other shows. Don Browning, $10, #1 fan. I love me some Don Browning. You're a credit to your country, man. Even if you do say no like this.
No.
I don't care. It's fine. If I ever meet Don, I'll bring her one of the good goon bags. One of those upper tier goon bags. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Don. Let's finish this off. And then we'll finish this off for the day.
There's going to be
we'll finish this off.
Fairly affected by something.
I think Dan liked me. I think he loved me. I think he loved me too much. It's wearing those shorts too long, my friend, you know. Don, so here's did you lose a rooster? Oh, no. Hugo Boss was your rooster. That's a good name for a rooster.
No matter what it is, right? You
put some F's in the chat for Don's rooster, Hugo Boss.
Raise the speed limit somewhere. This probably might, result in more accidents, but does that mean you shouldn't raise the speed limit? Freedom of speech causes problems, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't have it. Every law has people that get in trouble for it. And I find that bad. I'm in a prison. Prison should.
Oh my goodness! Tomb of Atremus sent 10 Mironchucknow gift memberships. Welcome to the memberships, folks. Hey, hello, listeners in here. Why are you being so quiet? One little thing about memberships, especially the gift ones. Appreciate everyone who's getting it. It's $2 to maintain that membership. So when it comes around time to sign back up again, just sign up again. It's $2. Not the end of the world. It's nice. It keeps my back end nice. It's a nice little number. It's a nice little thing to have in the back. It's a little pot of gold of the membership numbers. Of course, if you really want, you can. If you're a super fan of the show, for $25, you can join the Excelsior Club, and that's where we're uploading exclusive content, mostly interviews, working on some of those, some brand new exclusive content that'll come out in pay packages and some of that down the road. But that should be showing up. We're in June, June, July, but more on that later. We can still do it. $25. It's nice. It's nice.
Should be reform, not animal penitentiary. I don't think that prison should be for reform or for punishment. I think prison should simply be a way to keep people out of public. Because really, the goal that I have, I don't think about what's in the best interest of the prisoners. That's kind of irrelevant to me. What matters to me is what's in the best.
We got to get Asmongold to be reading some Carlyle, some Thomas Carlyle, and him. I think he would go well with that.
Best interest of the population, of the society. And so if you think about what's in the best interest of the prisoners, that's nice. But when you thinking about their best interests causes the taxpayers and society to spend more money, to be less safe, I think that you are being completely unfair. And I think that you're doing something that's unethical and also immoral. Whenever you make innocent people pay and suffer more because of your perceived altruism or virtue, I don't consider this a good thing. I don't think it's a high-minded idea. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Retro. Thomas Carlyle was very, very against any kinds of reform in prisons. It was like, no, they go there to go there. What are we doing, reforming them? Now, from a Christian ethic, we would say that this gets into death penalty kind of conversations. Because I think a lot of people who are anti-death penalty I hear a lot of them talk about being pro, life imprisonment. Well, life imprisonment, or let's say you're above the age of 20, if you get a 25-year or more life sentence with no avenue for parole, that's essentially a death sentence because most likely you're going to die in jail anyways, right? Or contract some disease or something like that. Your chances of dying in jail if you're spending that much time in it greatly increase. So being sent to jail is a potential death sentence of being in there in the first place. But they're against the idea of death penalties because you might get it wrong, kill the wrong person, that's on your conscience. And I get it. And from a Christian perspective, from the Orthodox perspective, the Orthodox are like, if the state is doing it, the state does it. If it doesn't, don't do it. It's not a big deal. But incarceration of any kind is removing a person from society and as a warning punishment for the rest of us. If you like freedom, do you like to be in prison? Do you like that idea? No, then don't do the thing. Just don't do the thing. Do something else. Find another way of saying it. Everyone holds up Singapore as the absolute big base model, but that's what order is. Order comes with structures, taboos, and you need it. Now we can argue what kind of order. We can argue what kind of culture is necessary to sustain those orders. But you gotta have that order, and you can't have this situation where people are just in and out of jail, like they had in El Salvador, where they're going to jail was a joke. You can't have that either, because then everything starts breaking down.
And it's actively dangerous, and you can see it being dangerous whenever you see these stories come out. When some guy's been arrested 7 times. Eric, do you think most of the criminals will get released back into society? Yeah. Sorry for not making sense typing while I'm nervous. No, it's not a big deal. But yeah, no, I don't care whether it's for reform or punishment or anything, because the goal shouldn't be about them. Like that's like a side effect. The goal really should be how to keep everybody else safe. So.
Finding Freedom says, is Jason in LA or is the Vengeful Son in LA? The Vengeful Son is in LA. I am not in LA.
Like you're talking about people's rights and everything. People have a...
You would have to pay me real money one day. Get to LA. The plane ticket would be expensive, but no, I'd have to have a real reason. Like whatever podcast wants me on, and I'd be like, all right, well, I'll figure that out. But and even then, I'd be like, I don't know. That's a long way, and I'd be in California. That's 2 things I don't want. I don't want to be in California, and I don't want to take a 30-hour plane trip. So, how much money are we talking about here? Well, how good is it going to be for my career? Like, could be really good, I hope.
Right to be safe, and they have a right to not have their money go towards keeping these random fucking morons in jail and not getting anything out of it. It's a waste. The prison is not the punishment. The punishment is the removal of their freedom. They get to live in an area outside of their control, and without them having the ability to remove themselves from the environment, yeah. And so, depends on the rate of reformation. True, man.
Yeah, but the loss of freedom is one thing. But if you have a loss of freedom, but then you get to live a wonderful, reformed, nice, playing Xbox in jail. I mean, yes, you're in jail and you're surrounded by jail people. But if that's the only thing you're losing is your freedom, then you're saying that liberty, freedom, is a higher value than all other things. That's the only thing that really is valuable in your society. I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the goal is justice for the victims. It's not even justice for the victims. The goal.
Yeah. Tomb says fed, bed, and lots of free time. A lot of people take that. It's kind of like, something in my bag if I ever get in a debate. It was like, a lot of people talk about, feudalism bad. I'm like, what's wrong with feudalism? I'm not saying I want it. I'm not saying it's preferable. I'm not advocating for it. But what's wrong with it? Really? What's the big deal about feudalism? Because I'm going to guarantee you, that most people, if you kind of explain what feudalism was and how it works and all that stuff, most people would take that deal. They'd take it in a second. Because they're like, what? We work on a plot of land. We're given this plot of land. We just have to work it. We actually only work like 4 days a week, really. Because it wasn't, there's tons of feast days and celebrate days and all that kind of stuff. You pay a little tiny bit of a tax. It's a very small tax. Mostly it was just trade, right? Give a third of your crop or something like that. That's it. The rest of it is all taken care of you. Now, people, see, the problem is that people put feudalism, they go, I have to be a farmer. It's like, well, you wouldn't have to necessarily be a farmer. In a modern feudalistic society, you wouldn't be like, go work the fields, motherfucker. Again, I'm not advocating for it. I'm simply saying a lot of people would take that deal. A lot of people are basically living that now. Socialism, kind of just feudalism. State takes care of everything for you. All you got to do is show up at work. You just show up at work. Just show up to work. That's why you're a cog, right? Show up to work, do your thing. Don't worry about it. Occasionally, we get really worried about freedom. You ain't free. You could leave. You're free to leave. It's about as all you're free to do. Everything else is conditional.
Goal is making sure that the rest of everybody else is safe and these people no longer pose a threat to society. That should be the main goal. It shouldn't be about getting revenge. It shouldn't be about hurting them. It shouldn't be about making them better people. All of that's irrelevant. What should matter is the people that are doing the right thing, how to make sure that they are safe and that things that are happening to them are the best possible thing.
Yeah, but this is always a liberal idea, is that you can't guarantee any of those things either. The pursuit of happiness is a massive lie. It's not about being happy. Joyful sorrow. Suffering is going to happen. You're going to suffer in this world, one way or the other, at some point in your life. So it's not about preventing suffering or even mitigating it. It's contextualizing it, making your life mean something, despite the fact that you're going to have all these other problems. This is what the church can do. Ideologies can't do that. J. Foot says the feudal lord at least had some responsibilities to his serf. Here, one thing that a feudal lord couldn't do, draft you. No drafts back then. They had to recruit people. Quite often they recruit you by coming around and go, we promise if you come and serve the army, we'll give you a title, we'll give you things. Sometimes they didn't do that, but at least the promise would be made. You see this now. I'll end this on a little dour note. Let's take a little look. Have anyone know of any new, anything new on the LA front before we go anywhere? Let me just take a look. Let's go here. Hang on a second. LA riots. See you, Tiff. Appreciate you hanging out. LA riots? Anything new? Anything new? Me in LA. No. I'm not seeing protesters clash with agents. That's from yesterday. Any media? Latest? Just seeing. This was 16 seconds ago. The leftist dirtbag riot culture that continues to try to destroy America needs to be met with overwhelming force and completely squashed. I feel like this is probably from yesterday.
These are anti-ICE protesters. Yes.
Yeah. This is the guy with a motorcycle.
It could easily be the BLM protesters, or the Free Palestine protesters, or the Resist Doge protesters, or the Resist ICE in this case protesters. It is this dirtbag coalition of leftist, violent.
Yeah, except that this has a spiritual aspect to it, doesn't it? This feels very ritualistic. There's a car burning and a guy going around in circles.
Protesters. Yes, but if you just squint, it could easily be the BLM protesters or the Free Palestine protesters.
Yeah. See, this is where it's also taking on a different kind of context, because there's a ritualistic here. You know, we go too far back, we get into situations where the ritual is human sacrifice. So.
In this case, protesters. It is this dirtbag coalition of left.
Anyways, we'll check back on that. We'll be back on Sunday evening. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks again to Boss, who made a big giant contribution over on Streamlabs. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you who've liked and subscribed and shared the show, and give me your support in any way you can. We'll be back on Sunday evening. What time? Probably around, check back around 9 or 10 Sunday evening, and I'll be doing more shows. Again, we'll check back on the LA situation. If there's more updates or more live streaming to be done there, we'll check that out. And if not, then we'll catch up on the news of the day, and then we'll watch some Sam High together. How about that? That'd be fun. Do a little fun stuff. A little bit of fun stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, thank you so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. I am Jason Mironchuck, and it's later than you think.